on the mountainside, high in the peaks of the Cavrosi, the great mountains that separate the ancient empire of Obradimia from Kahad, and indeed its easternmost metropolis, Dol Makyar, the city to which you now return, we find on a snowy cliffside, parked safely, a carriage containing your sleeping companions and the stone body of Taliesin, your pridesire. At the campfire, we find Tayor and Kattigan keeping watch throughout the night. You are on the King's Highway, even in the dead of night, in this dangerous turn high in the peaks where on the other side of the road there is a steep drop some 200 feet down into icy darkness. It is still possible that there will be travelers traveling these icy highways at night, and so some watch must be kept just to keep yourself safe. What state do we find our twin cats of the Falconers' Rebellion in here, keeping watch?
I would have thought that after all this travel, I would feel a bit more secure in what we are doing and feel a bit more assurance in our accomplishments, but it is hard to feel safe.
How much time has passed since the tavern with Tyranny?
It's probably been about 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours.
Same day?
Same day.
Same day. Yeah, Kattigan is 1,000-yard stare straight into the core of the fire, just locked in on the embers. But his hands are sort of working furiously, and he's carving out fresh bolts for his battle. Yeah.
My friend, Kattigan. You have always been a man of focus, but you seem particularly disturbed.
Yeah. I'm just, thinking about a hunt I gave up on a long time ago.
Gave up on?
Yeah.
My friend, I admit, I have been hesitant to ask. It has been so long, so many years, and of course, if it is better not to, then you can say the word and it will be forgotten.
Oh, come on, you were never one to mince words. Out with it.
Before I saw you around the Aussie's body the last time we met, you were off to find a new adventure. With her. Mariana.
Oh, man. It's like a gut punch. Yeah. Twice in the same day. Mm-hmm. And Kattigan hasn't heard that name in years.
Oh.
Like half a decade.
Fuck.
It's twice in the same day.
Okay, all right, okay. Oh, shit. I seem to have struck a chord.
Sometimes you have to laugh the pain away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adventure, sure. You know, all those years we spent fighting together, I never considered myself an adventurer. You're supposed to seek glory or treasure or something, and is it still an adventure if you find the treasure and you lose it? Or is it just a sad fucking life? No, there's no adventure.
Lose it.
Yeah. She's gone, Theo.
I am sorry to hear. I know how much she meant and what it cost you in order to...
Yeah.
May I ask what happened? I mean, you moved heaven and earth to change the entire course of your life.
No, fuck that. No man can move heaven and earth. Man can barely brush a tree branch aside. She was taken from me. And there's nothing I can do about it. Can we leave it at that for now? Is that all right?
Of course.
Maybe another day, another campfire. But thank you for asking. No one has ever asked.
I'm sorry it took so long.
Yeah, well, it's all right. How do you think your brother's doing back there? Knock on the cart. Is he still with us in the cart?
Sid is sleeping soundly made of stone.
Chilling. I think he's probably catching up on some much-needed rest. You need anything, brother?
No, I think he's all right.
He was never one for the finer things. I feel like I should at least take some inventory of what we have. I was speaking with Thimble earlier about heading back into Dol Makyar. It is not going to be easy.
Yeah. Well, stocking up. I'll keep whittling away at my bolts.
Can I grab just a little knapsack that I have that's got a collection of stuff and just kind of do a quick little inventory of what I've got?
The torn banner, kept in its scroll case given to you by Loza Blade.
That gets its own spot.
Your lion's head emblem. You behold, I don't know if you're still wearing them after
The
bracers.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I left him on after helping load up the bro.
You had an attempt at sort of attuning to them with Thimble on the road back in Timony, and it did not go very well. You have to wonder if you haven't been somewhat cursed.
Yeah.
Or if there hasn't been some period of unluck and the voice of a fairy comes back to you. It's bad luck. Carrying a dead man's letter.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Yes.
For those viewers at home that don't mind a 12-episode callback.
Oh no! Wait, the
Jaffe, the Bauka. He's the sort of fairies that have a dedicated animal form they can take. Jaffe was you met in Hawthorne's Glade before you had even found the Wraith Tree, before you'd even gotten to Sloke.
He had the owl cloak.
He had the owl cloak. He had sort of a jacket, like a long jacket hung over his shoulders that was in the form of sort of an owl's plumage and an owl-like mask. So he had like a little porcelain chin that seemed humanoid, but then this sort of like owl covering over his eyes and nose.
We were separate for that, right?
Yeah,
we were off on different adventures.
I healed him because he had a kind of a fever or an illness or something.
They had a broken wing.
And in return, he asked if we knew Thiazi. We mentioned he passed, and he said, it's bad luck to hold a dead man's letter.
What's that?
I forgot that this little owl fairy.
Yeah.
He handed me a letter for Thiazi.
Are you ready yet?
No.
Well, come on then, what are we waiting for?
Well, what is worse luck, carrying a dead man's letter or reading the dead man's letter?
What the fuck are you talking about? Carrying a dead man's letter's bad luck?
Apparently.
Where'd you hear that?
Would explain the shit rolls I've been having. I guess it can't get any fucking worse.
Oh shit. Okay. Shadow. To Shadow, if all has gone well, you have the stone in hand. We'll need the steel, and you said you can convince her to reshape it into an anchor. If not, anyone in the family can make plowshares. Once it's done, the next step is to bring it to the field. Our wings are leading a charge across the border to draw the locals from the site. That hotshot I mentioned will meet you there and help prepare the arch from steel to stone. Please try to temper his confidence with pragmatism. Yes, I know you are precisely the wrong person for that. Still, remember, until a stable trinity of bridges are built, it is vital that the blood be protected. I trust that you have disguised it well. With any luck, the next time I see your face, we will have undone the damage of our first attempt. More than one door will be open to us from there. Until then, I search for suitable anchors for the remaining 4. We may need more hands soon after. Signed, Professor.
Professor? Well, that's pretty cryptic without any context, isn't it? Never was good at riddles. What do you think it means?
I don't know, but knowing that this came from someone of Thimble's background, I mean, we have to assume that it could be anything from fairy, it could be some sort of a connection, some sort of subversion from...
I never went to college. You know any professors?
No.
Right.
And also in a letter, they have to assume that it could be intercepted, so this is code.
You think it's like a secret talk or something?
It has to be. Bridges, wings, steel to stone, and archway.
There's also the distinct possibility that we're not smart enough to figure this out.
It's probably a fair possibility.
We move out from this campfire as the snow blows over the 2 soldiers, peering into the depth of conspiracy. They're
Between us, we're dumb as fuck.
I gotta check my stats. It's okay. It's +1.
Me too.
Okay, good.
However, Kattigan's instinct that the letter, I believe Tayar mentioned that the letter being intercepted would have had to have been a thought that occurred to the one writing it. And it occurs to you that a letter bound for Thiazi Fang does not bear his name, merely the word shadow. We will discover more of these secrets on another episode of Critical Role. We'll see you then.
Hello and welcome back to the Critical Role Announcement Playhouse. There, I hit it. Before we get into tonight's episode of Naraman, we do have some announcements to get through, beginning with our sponsor of tonight, Boot.dev, a learning platform that can teach anyone how to code like a pro. To tell you more, I'll turn you over to Captain Sam T. Kirk of the USS Advertise.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you, Mission Control. It is I, Captain Sam T. Kirk of the USS Advertise, on a mission to reach the planet Sponsor 19. But we've hit an asteroid belt. Brace for impact.
They always had a concussion.
Patty, how are the engines holding up?
Captain, them yokes are banjacks to bits. Sure, we'll need a fistful of leprechaun-looking St. Anthony spear change to leg it through in one lump.
We have to make it to Sponsor so we can tell the people how to become a software developer. The smartest way to learn is to never get bored. Boot.dev can take you from beginner to expert through a fun, gamified, hands-on RPG-like experience. Lorf! Come on, Lorf. Damage report! Come on, Lorf.
Lorf?
Well,
Really?
I wrote it for Laura. But she's not here. That's Captain to you, Lorf.
Right, right. Sorry, Captain. Hull is at 69%.
Nice.
Oh no! Radar indicates imminent collision!
Incoming!
Sorry, Patty.
Don't be such a dick. Damn it, what can we do? We'll never show them boot.dev.
Captain, there can only be one logical solution.
Dr. Jock, you and your damned Vulcan logic, what is it?
To show the audience boot.dev, we must use boot.dev.
Damn you, Jock, makes sense!
Observe. I will simply log on to boot.dev and easily study back-end web development from start to finish in Python, SQL, and Go. I will test and perfect my coding skills in their new area, the training grounds, where I can grind through the challenges and perfect my coursework.
He's so serious.
I know.
And finally, I will use my new skills to reprogram the USS Advertise to get us safely to your destination.
Don't you mean our destination, Jock?
No, Captain. With my new coding skills learned at boot.dev, I'm quitting this tin can, as you call it, and becoming a back-end web developer. Their median salary in the US in 2024 was over $100,000.
That's actually pretty good. You've done it again, Jacques. Go to boot.dev and use code CRITICAL to get 25% off your first payment. Lorf, set a course for sponsor. And hit it! Matt, boldly back to you!
That was a pretty good rehearsal.
That was good.
We should get a real one.
Yeah.
I like this.
I want this every week.
On your head.
Thank you.
I want this.
I think Taliesin came in from a different sketch.
He just elevated it.
Yeah, no. So someone's actually got to read the copy properly.
Wait, where are you going?
We're still in it. We're still in it.
We're just standing here for this whole thing.
There's no cutting.
Hey,
Stand tall and proud.
hey, for
What a well-oiled machine. Come in here.
for our next sponsor, the brand new side-scrolling action platformer game, Ariana and the Elder Codex. If you love action, magic, and adventure, well, you just gotta check out this game. You play as Ariana, a magical librarian on a mission to repair the 7 hero codices and restore magic to a world where it's vanished. Explore beautifully crafted side-scrolling worlds, defeat challenging enemies, and unlock over 30 powerful magic spells and abilities to tailor to your playstyle. Face off against formidable guardians, tackle platforming challenges, and harness magic items to gain buffs and upgrades. Ariana and the Elder Codex launches on PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch on March 24th, and on Steam on April 29th. There's even a free demo available. So, head to ifi.games/Ariana to learn more and start your magical adventure today. Thank you, Ariana and the Elder Codex, for sponsoring this episode.
Yes.
Thank you. Would have been a little better if I had some balls on my head, but
We'll
You
work
make
on
a
that.
pair.
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah, well, we recently announced a brand new partnership with the Wondrous board game publishers at CGE to create a Critical Role version of Codenames. This is a fully cooperative reimagining of the game where one player steps into the role of a GM, guiding their party with clues through perilous missions, each with its own twists and challenges. You'll get to build your party with iconic heroes from all 3 Critical Role campaigns and journey through 3 separate adventures where you'll level up your characters, unlock unique abilities, and even equip items as you progress. Pre-order Codenames Critical Role Adventures now over at ChechGames.com and look forward to expansion packs dropping at Gen Con.
Wow.
So cool.
Yeah. Very
I
logical.
think that concludes our announcements. So, with that being said, let's all
Set a course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, whoa. The things I do for this company.
Looks like Last of Us 3 down there.
let's go back into Ahriman, please.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Schemers Table here on Critical Critical roll.
Literal coal.
We return to Dol Makyar. That's right. We return to the beginning of the same week that we started 6 months ago.
Haven't slept in 6 months.
Who needs a short rest? We don't take short rests. We don't take long rests.
We don't take long rests. We don't take short rests. We don't take any rest. Unbelievable. We return now to the 7 stars. Looking down at Hallandil Fang, who has just been playing the harpsichord for a laughing crowd of merry partygoers who have returned from a strange reception at the Palazzo Divinos. The past 48 hours have been remarkably eventful. The execution of Thiazi Fang, the holding of his Farav, the quick departing of Kattigan, Vale, Teor Pridesire, Thimble, with Wikander, Halavar, and Tyranny in tow after discovering something horrifying that they did not share before making their way north to seek revenge on Casimir Gavendale and to seek the rescue or recovery of Talsidamir Pridesire, Teor's younger brother. The Seeker's Table headed east with the mother of Hal and her children, Thaisha, Lloy, heading with the late Octus Ticonis in tow with Julien Divinos and the elven warrior Vaelus. Headed east in search of the fate of the Royce family and the Divinos in the attack on their house by the dreaded House Ticonis, as well as pursuing a vision across the Vale held by Octus Ticonis of an orcish warrior in a strange land in what looked like the ruins of old Obradimia, an orcish warrior that Thaisha believed might well be your and her son, Iyengar. We return to those who hold some stake in this fair city.
Employed table.
The employed table. Welcome to the employees table. Where you guys have just had, after the night where you discovered the empty Palazzo Divinos, where Azune asked a melted candle to remember itself and followed the footsteps of a spectral fox to the Lloy estate, where Murray and Bolaire, on a portentous, literally and figuratively, Nat 20, created the first, at least in your understanding of the history of Ahriman, the first revenant or hollow one, the first undead that, while not living, was fully possessed of its heart, mind, and maybe soul, TBD.
You're welcome.
Give us the Nobel Peace Prize.
Give us the Nobel Peace Prize. After Dean Cora Keplin Weisserich's inauguration, Horrendous Einfasen's dismissal of the bulk of the Revolutionary Guard, the Lady Aabria Dason Cormoray's investigation with her own very hands of the pariah blade that Shaeclaw used to kill the god of war, and Hal's day of rehearsal with his troupe at the Hallowed Round. By the way, Hal, let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. I actually have shout out to our incredible lore keepers, Danny Carr, and also to Jared for putting together. Jared put together an amazing timeline here. The question I have for you is, how many days is it until your play's opening night? Is it like a weekend? Is it like 2 weeks away? A week and a half away?
I think it's just over. It's like 7 or 8 days away.
7 or 8 days away. Nice. I love that. I'll go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna
Can
go.
we get box seats?
Comp tickets.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah.
And now.
I'm gonna say that you've got it coming up. Maybe between 8 to 10 days away sounds good to me.
Theater countdown.
Theater countdown.
Boy.
You are gathered here in this space in the Seven Stars to talk about what is happening to your city, but also this has just come up. We're going to return to the exact moment we left from our scene, I believe in episode 11, to Azune and Murray at the top of the staircase, looking down at the common room where Bolaire just pulled Hal away to speak of controversial changes to the play. Murray, you look at Azune, who has just gotten this big question, which is Oris Blade, a merchant of a potter's company here in Dol Makyar, who just shared with you his suspicions around this strange gala at the Divinos, at the Palazzo Divinos. Oris confided in you and said that there are many in the city who see Thiazi as one of theirs, and that his execution is a bridge too far to stomach. That essentially, said, if I hear something, can I bring it here to Lockmere? As he said that, Azune, you looking at him break that see invisibility spell glyph, had to ask yourself, how did Thiazi know that the spell glyph was a dud if he didn't break it? What happened?
I had detect magic up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that was me and Azune having this little moment.
I have that glyph in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I show it to you, Murray. Through this seam that's at the center, that's the part that it's there, so it's easy to break.
Right.
He didn't break it.
I didn't go to the execution based on principle alone. What did you see?
I saw him, he gave a speech, in a way, and he looked up. And then I kept waiting for him to disappear, and it never happened, and next thing I know, I see him hanging. Why wouldn't he try to break it? I need to talk to Hal, and I need to talk to that guy that they're talking to that we saw break.
Well, why don't we see if we can bring this guy upstairs? He seems like he could be a good ally, but we shouldn't talk about it down here.
No, I don't want to be seen down there. There's too many people that are noble people that aren't normally here. I don't want to be seen by them.
Is it smart to bring this stranger, this new guy, up into our little secret hideaway?
I pull out that I believe I have on my person is the actual glyph that Thimble was supposed to deliver to Thiazi.
Mm-hmm.
I need that man to take a look at these two glyphs, and it can only happen up here. It can't happen down there.
All right. I'll go get him. Just go upstairs, okay? And collect yourself. You're clearly flustered, so just take a deep breath. Give yourself a minute, all right? I go downstairs to Hal and Fang.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute. Where have we left off? Am I still at the harpsichord, or did Bolaire pull me away?
I think that Bolaire maybe pulled you away at this point, but you see that Oris is preparing to leave, nods at you across the bar, takes Camilla, his paramour, and they head off into the night.
Before he leaves, I go downstairs. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I kind of grab him.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to help our beloved Lockmere get a fresh keg out of the top, and it is just it's a little too heavy for my dainty little hands. I just need a couple strong men really quick to come and lift a box.
Happy. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Okay. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use a fan gave me this as a Murray die. Okay. First thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you say? Persuasion?
Persuasion.
That's not too bad. 15.
15, great. He says, I'd be happy to help. I think on a 15 he agrees, but you see that Camilla over his shoulder goes, need a big strong man to come help you.
Yeah, I'm 4'2".
Convenient.
You see,
Oh, you got one strong man, and I'm here too. Ready? 1, 2.
You see, Oris helps get the table up.
Just real quick, if we can just go upstairs and just follow me really quick. Just one little
top of the stairs. Got it. All
top
right.
of the stairs. It'll be 3 seconds, sweetheart.
Mr. Fang, do you want to take the back? Should I go back up, or do you want to go?
I know this place. I'll go back.
Okay. And he gets up under you, going up with the table.
Yeah, I've just got to get it upstairs. I'm sorry, Bolaire, do you mind you helping us as well? Could I have someone, just need someone to hold the door open for us.
No, of course. Yeah, one moment.
All right. Get this guy upstairs.
You walk upstairs. He sees Azune up here. And I think you, anyone who wants to give me an insight check.
Oh, always.
I'm always ready for that.
Yeah.
You guys go for it.
No. Off of him?
Off of Oris,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm looking right at him.
sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked.
I'm trying to move. I'm trying to make people lift tables upstairs.
It's
the one thing I do well,
and I did it 7.
16.
16. You walk in. Here's the thing. You're ready for it because it's the look you see all the time. He walks in. This guy was just down there talking about hearing the falcons cry with like a notable actor, and has been asked suddenly to walk upstairs, and there's a cop waiting for him. So you see, he goes,
Relax. We're friends here.
Oh, he's family.
Oh, got it.
You're all right.
Hello.
Sure, we can trust this guy.
Lieutenant Captain. Hello,
Lieutenant. But that doesn't matter right now, Azune. And your name?
My name is Doris. My name is Oris.
I'm sorry to take you by surprise, but time is of the essence.
What?
I saw you activate something below.
That wasn't mine.
That's okay. No one is going to report you. You're
okay.
At ease here.
Okay.
We are friends.
We need you to take a look at another one of those sigils that you have.
If you don't mind.
Tell us if you recognize it.
I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull them both out.
All right.
What are we looking at here?
He takes a look at both of them.
The glyph that I found on Thiazi, that is apparently the false glyph, the fake, and the real one that Thimble was meant to hand to him that would have activated the Misty Step.
He didn't break it.
Okay.
Thiazi didn't break it.
Really?
Why?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why, if you think about it.
Well,
Investigating that right now.
Well, this one's a fake, and he holds up the one that was on Thiazi's person.
Okay. And this other one? And I'm actually watching him look at it because I'm wondering if it was his.
Got it.
He made it.
Go ahead, give me another insight check as you look at him in this moment.
So, Murray, your detect magic is not up, right?
it should still be up.
Okay, so you would be able to see if
May
somebody's
I?
It
deal.
lasts for 10 minutes, and I just might be reaching the end, but it can't. Yeah.
So you would be able to see if something wasn't what it said it was.
Correct.
Since it's intentional and I know that I am inviting him up, would you allow me to guidance myself as I watch him?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Oh no. That is a 10.
A 10, okay. He's looking at the glyphs. He says, this one is a forgery. It's just a little bit too dense in the hand. But it's been made to look exactly like a spell glyph. It's a very high quality forgery. If I hadn't held 1,000 of these, I wouldn't. It's a very high quality forgery. That's very strange.
Someone that has that ability?
I know 4 people who have that ability.
There's
5 if you can count me.
It's just very interesting to put this amount of work into the magic of. So both of these are meant to be spell glyphs for a short range traveling, skating across the interplay between fairy and the just outside of this realm where you can. My understanding is skate along the surface, and I'm not a magician myself, but I work with them to produce these. The issue is this one is a forgery that can't. This is too dense to hold this spell, but it's of a quality that it's meant to hold enchantment. So why wouldn't you just make it to hold the right? It's like this was made to be enchanted with not this spell. It was made to be enchanted with something else. I don't know what. But it's strange to. This is an expensive forgery. And if you're making an expensive forgery, why not make the real thing? The people that would have the ability to make this, a forgery like this costs, I think, 2 gold pieces and 5 silver to produce. But the machinery needed to build it means you're losing money if you make less than 200. So, in other words, not anybody with 2.5 gold pieces could make that because
you have to buy the entire infrastructure or have access to it.
Yes.
Bloody 3D printers.
So, this, on the other hand, is I think he just tosses it in his hand and goes, "Yeah, this is hand and wheel. This is us."
Hand and wheel.
Hand to wheel?
Hand and wheel ceramic merchants.
Have any of us heard of them before?
How? This is his family company. This is the one of the many Blade families. Because Blade is a very common surname, you wouldn't use it as the name of your merchant company.
So is this like a well-known
this is like
business in
a well-known business. This is like hardworking Dol Makyar orcs that had their own clay quarry, essentially, like off of Lake Nahanni. This is like everything gets sourced from the lake, everything gets made in town. They pay good wages. Like, it's a pretty stand-up thing, and they've begun to ship out further afield. They have Elodie introduced you to Oris's family at a gathering or a function because she works in the same circles as them.
Right.
Do you know of anyone else who would have that type of infrastructure, or at least access to that type of infrastructure in order to be able to make something like this?
Or knowledge about it, Oris. I understand you're just supplying the raw material to press glyphs into, but...
Well, here's the issue. When we try to, for legal reasons with the Sundered Houses, with the Chamber of Lords Advisory, we now have to bring everything in-house, and it has to get all approved. However, they have specifically forbidden us from continuing to make this spell glyph. So anything that's still printed, we can sell, but we can't make any new ones. However, about a week ago, we had a wagon get knocked over on the way from the kiln to the press. So a bunch of blanks went missing about a week ago. We think it might have been crow keepers, but you see, he looks at it again and says, there are some people in the arcane underground that pay a large amount of money for blanks.
By the way, I just feel like it should be said, we were friends of Thiazi's, so we're trying to help. We're not going to rat you out or anything like that.
So far, I haven't said anything other than public information. So I think that it's all what I'll say is this. This glyph, he points at the forgery, would require tremendous wealth and private work areas to be able to produce. This one, if my theory is correct and it's on a stolen blank, could get produced by just someone that knew how to carve the rune. I will also say, looking at this glyph work, there's a little bit of a flourish here, which the serifs placed on this, which is written in Rungyani, the Seraphs don't normally go there if they're being done by an orcish spell artisan, an orcish magician. Reads a little fey to me.
Right.
And this is the fake glyph that you're referring to?
Oh no, he's referring to Thimble's one, the one that she got that was supposed to be the real one.
Oh.
Yeah,
so the one that Thimble sourced, he's saying had some fey component to it.
And he's just finished talking about how these are often used for skating back and forth between fey and...
Yeah, he's describing essentially like a Misty Step spell, that this would have been like a short-range teleportation.
And that's on the forgery or on the real one?
That's on the real one. The forgery's made to look like it's supposed to be Misty Step.
Okay.
The other one is a real Misty Step one. He says,
I see.
You see, he looks and says, essentially, this is the genuine article, even though it got made by a criminal. This one, this is someone stole a blank from us because we're not allowed to make this spell anymore. And it is dangerous. Long-range teleportation will kill you. But the short-range stuff is typically pretty safe. That is not our handwriting. So someone took a blank and put their own spell on it. And they did it, I would guess, sometime in the last week. This one over here is not a teleportation spell glyph. It's just made to look like one, but whoever made it has the ability to make real ones at scale.
Okay. The fake one.
The fake one is expensive. The forgeries, the real deal is stolen. I know that's sort of a cross.
Yes.
No, it tracks.
So to keep my wires from crossing, the wagon that got knocked over was where they stole the blanks to make the forgery, or was it where they stole the blanks?
I would guess, Azune, that the wagon that got knocked over, the blanks were stolen to make the genuine one.
Like fake money. If you have the real, printing pieces,
right?
It might as well be real.
I have another question for you. You clearly understand the weight of this fake one. It's very important that you don't break it, but can you assess whether it's breakable?
He looks at it, looks at the perforation on it, says, it's impossible to say with certainty unless I break it, but that appears to be a completely normal, although unenchanted spell glyph that appears to be breakable to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I have thoughts, but we'll save them for a moment.
What do you do with those pieces that you discard once you've used it?
Oh, the broken pieces? They are safe to discard publicly. They don't. There's no possibility of re-enchanting them once.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can I have those?
My shards?
The ones that you've used up in your pocket.
He sort of blanches.
He's not going to arrest you.
In fact, I want to make sure that this can't be traced back to you. Is there a way that you can scrub it a little bit so that it cannot be identified as something that came from your shop?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And you see that he goes over, flips it onto the sort of this back side of the mark, and you see that he looks over and you see how he saw all this, in that his finished one has a small press of the sort of like emblem of the hand and wheel, which is like his merchant company. He scrapes that small thing off, and you realize the one that Thimble had with a real Misty Step cast into it never went to the real printing press, and so it never got the official seal on it. The other forgery also does not appear to have the emblem on it either, which is sort of so he takes his and scrapes his sort of emblem off, hands it to you.
You're paranoid. I'm so proud of you.
He looks at you and says, "Have I given offense to you in this moment?"
Not at all.
Quite the opposite.
Whatever this is, if hand and wheel is implicated in any of it, we will turn over our books. We have submitted records to the Revolutionary Guard of the wagon going missing. Everything we do is transparent and accountable to the city and to the Revolutionary Guard and Council.
Yeah, quite the contrary. Everything that you're looking at right now is very off the books. So I would actually appreciate it very much, Mr. Oris, if you did not talk about this moment to anyone. It never happened. You understand?
I can see no advantage in sharing what has transpired as I helped move a table upstairs.
And on that note, while he does that inside check, I kick a crate really loudly next to me. Just go like, oh, man.
You're going away.
What a heavy bastard that is. And make a little bit more noise like we're still moving shit around.
12.
12 insight. Oris seems to be, on a 12 insight, Oris seems to be a pretty cool customer who's very flustered because he's speaking to like people that he doesn't understand why they are associated with each other. Like he's speaking to one of the masked curators of the Arcanod, a member of the Revolutionary Guard, and I think that there's a little bit of him going like, he's in a state of peak because of this execution. And also, you just heard him like, yeah, he's like Fiazi's one of ours. But also, this guy just told you, like, my company just had a source of income outlawed.
Yeah.
We just got told that we can't print. What do you mean we can't print this? You know what I mean? Like, so you can tell he has a genuine aversion to the Sundered Houses. But he's gone from being in like merchants' quarters where they're like, well, it seems these Sundered Houses have no problems printing spell glyphs. What's good for the goose, clearly not so good for the gander. I think I have some strong words to share. And then came upstairs to a room where 4 people were like, what do you know about crimes? And he's like, I was more, I think on a 12 you're like, this guy had more bravado talking shit before he was in a shadowy aviary with a bunch of people being like, how do you know about this broken stuff that was maybe, like, so you see he is a man who shares your alignments and ideologies, but maybe doesn't share your similar temperature of conviction at this moment.
I'm gonna plant my hand on his shoulder.
Yes.
Oris, from fang to blade, you have our trust, and I hope we have yours. You are safe here. We are looking for answers. I am looking for answers at a time of tragedy in my family's life. I thank you for your time.
Damn, that sounds so cool. From fang to blade.
And if you need anything, I assume you know where to find me. I owe you a favor, and especially if anyone wonders how strong you are if you were to carry a table or otherwise up a set of stairs, if they feel that you are not strong enough for such an endeavor, just let us know and we'll take care of it.
He laughs. With a help action from Bolaire, give me persuasion.
Okay. Okay, that would be...
And with advantage because of the help action.
Yep.
Way better. That would be 27.
Oris smiles at you and goes, I am very glad to know. I'm sorry to have not made your acquaintance, madam, nor yours yet, sir. But the fact that there are professors, curators, merchants, and thespians all here in this attic sharing common cause is testament to how truly lawless and reckless these Lord's Advisory have become. So I wish you a pleasant, safe, and fruitful evening. Thank you.
And remember, if you say anything, I'm going to tell your lady that you tried to kiss me.
He turns around and walks out of the...
I feel like you could do better.
Huh?
I feel like you could do better.
Fuck off, Bolaire.
No, I mean, really. That was barely a threat.
It's not about him, it's about his jealous little
You see,
a little tater tot that he had.
quickly heads downstairs. You guys, from the open aviary, see him walking out on the street. Camilla's like, trying to find the best corner for that table. You're up there for a half hour. And you see, he walks off.
It's important to support local business. That's quite nice.
It really is.
Fuck.
Anyone who... Oris walks away. Anyone who wants to, go ahead and give me a DC 20. Or actually, I'm actually only going to ask this from Bolaire and Hal, actually. Give me a DC 20 history check.
Come on. Hey! 25. 23. No more shit.
25 and 23. As you guys look at that spell glyph that he scrubbed the emblem off of, he heads out into town, and you guys each have this moment. You've seen that emblem within the past 2 days, not on a spell glyph.
Was it on the? Was
Is
it on
the paints?
Was it on the? Or was it on the paint? Or was it on the sarcophagus?
It was not on the sarcophagus. It was not on the coffin, but the amphora of paint were hand and wheel.
Shit.
What's with the paints? There's something magic about the paints aside from just the paints. We gotta dump these gallons of paints and see what's in them. Or something. Marisha is saying over the table. Right, this is Marisha.
I don't know, it's hard to tell because the energy is very similar. And I can hear the accent leaking through.
Yeah.
God, big Travis Ford vibe.
They turn to each other and simultaneously go, the paint.
It's the paint. Why would your brother give me a vat of paint? We have to figure out what the fuck is up with it.
Have you been using those paints at all?
My daughter has a little bit. She started painting over at the Round.
Interesting. I doubt he would give you anything dangerous.
I don't have energy for another field trip tonight.
That's why we're not going to take a field trip other than to our beds. There is nothing good that can come of this.
I'm so tired.
But maybe it would be good.
Clearly.
I feel like I haven't slept in 6 months.
Again, Marisha or...
It's hard to tell.
Yes.
Time.
Maybe once you've gotten your dwarf hours in, wake up tomorrow. We take another look.
Wait, what day would tomorrow theoretically be? Is it another work day? Do I need to be sitting at my desk?
Tomorrow, and I'm gonna go and consult our wonderful timeline here. Hold on.
And is it merely the evening or is it late?
Early evening. This is going to be hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay. Today is Smith's Day, which means that tomorrow will be Farmer's Day, which will be a work day.
Of course it is.
Fuck!
Well, I can get you out of work if we need to, Murray.
You know, honestly, I need to talk to Dean Kleppen Vicerect anyway. I've got to apologize.
Would you like a conscription to the museum for a bit? We could use the help quite a bit. We, of course, are packing up everything, and someone with your talents would be both useful and would keep you away from the school, which I imagine would be beneficial.
You know what? Actually, Bolaire, I think that's a great idea. Maybe you could write a little doctor's note for me. A little letter, say, you know, how valuable I am and that I'll play nice.
I'll make it believable.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I need an assignment. I'm sorry, but I can't I can't keep up with you all with the kind of more abstract conversations that you're having about plans. I need a task.
Well, your task was to continue to remain useful, remember?
Yeah.
We need to reconvene tomorrow morning. I would love to take a poke at that paint.
How about this?
You meet at the theater, perhaps?
I'll go into work. I'll come crawling in with my tail between my legs to Dean Cora. I'll have a little chat. And then we can meet up with you guys afterwards. Azune.
Yeah.
We gotta keep all of those Revolutionary Guard from joining these private military, whatever the hell the Einfossens are trying to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to talk to your guys.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do what I can. I gave you someone.
You did.
I'll see if I can
Varen,
meet him tomorrow morning. Yeah. Varen. Bolaire, we need money. I know where you stand. I'm not trying to build an army, but I hear what you're saying. It's too soon.
It will not take too long. I have a funny feeling that once I get the schedule, it's going to be quick.
They need to know that they've not been abandoned, and at the very least, a small sum so I can recruit some of them on our behalf. Could be working under the radar for us.
I'm not very liquid at the moment, but I'm sure that I can get some money out of them relatively quickly.
If it's coming, the promise of it will be good enough. Will have to be for now.
It's coming. Worst case scenario, we can sell something on the black market or some such. We're already going to be raided anyway.
Speaking of, I think I need to get in contact with Devrasi at some point in time and see if there's anything that's been moved. Especially now that we know more about these blank spell glyphs, to see if he's been able to track those. I mean, with the blank spell glyphs, depending on how many have entered into the black market, that could honestly end up being like a counterfeit currency that we can continue to track and see potentially figure out the veins and the rivers of where these things have been flowing.
There's a lot of options there.
Right.
Out of curiosity, would the body I'm writing, from what I know of him, have any information? Would possibly have any interconnection to any of this skullduggery?
Quite possibly.
All right, I'll have to irritate him later then.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like we all have our own individual threads to pull at tomorrow to start. Why don't we...
We'll be quick.
Run errands and meet up in the afternoon, early evening.
Make sure we have paintbrushes and smocks, I imagine.
Early afternoon.
All right.
Meet at the theater?
Yes. I will make the Pentevril a stop that I make tomorrow, just to see how things are going with you, in case you run into any trouble.
All right. We can put up appearances.
And, Bolaire, well, I had on my list a couple other things, but I may be indisposed tomorrow. I don't know what's in store for me at work. And I know this is more of a silver arrow down the road, but I think that's something to keep in mind. We have a Takona signet ring. I think it's still a part of our plan. I think an important part is for us to exploit the houses and try to find a way to turn them against each other. I think a confession in the hand of a Takonis, suggesting that they are turning on...
A real one or a fake one, or does it matter?
Doesn't matter as long as it's convincing.
My favorite kind.
I would like Einfossen to think that he's next. As they start to realize that House Royce has been eliminated, if they already know or not, I want them to believe that the House Takonis is going to eventually devour them. A confession may be in Octus's hand.
Well, we first just need to know what they know, and that will be the first trick.
I know, down the road, a silver arrow.
But yes, it's there.
I do have my company member's sister, remember, working.
Oh, yes.
I do have samples of Octus's handwriting.
Oh, yes.
might be too soon to make that move, but I trust your judgment.
It's good to know what we have ready to fire when it's necessary.
Well, this sister I mentioned, maybe we'll have some idea what the Anfassen family is thinking, feeling.
Good.
Before we monkey with their minds.
Azune, you look like a trapped bird that's about to vibrate out of a cage and give itself a little mini heart attack. What is going on? You gotta calm down.
I agree. Why don't you stay at the Rookery tonight, for old time's sake? You stay with me.
Okay.
Looks like your pants are gonna fall off of you because you are shaking so much.
How would they fall?
It's an expression. I got to teach you about
I look down to see
creative
if my
expression.
pants have been undone this entire time, and I have been unaware of it. Probably blush a little.
Yeah, it means your flies undone.
Your breeches are exactly where they're supposed to be. However, the hour is late, Murray. You are fucking exhausted.
I've got, like when you haven't slept and you're starting to get like halos. Mm-hmm. Like you look at a light source and it kind of blurs and blends. So I've got everything is kind of pulsing.
I don't know if this is terrible or not. I'm still trying to remember what is appropriate. I could put you to sleep if you like. Quite slowly. It wouldn't give you time to take care of everything.
What would that entail exactly?
That would be I would offer some advice of how to relax and fall asleep. Just very specific advice.
Tomorrow night.
Please sleep. And no, we'll see if tomorrow night is available, but yes.
All right. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm gonna go. Let's all make sure we leave separately. Give it a little bit of a gap.
Is there like a back exit, or is the only way to where we are the stairs that lead down to where everyone else is?
There's only one staircase that goes down, but you are sort of in a aviary that is under a dome that has like open access to these sort of slanted roofs down. It's like hyper dramatic, but you could slide down to the roof and drop down. There's like a stack. There's a barrel on a large crate that is literally a step down from the roof's edge.
That's my way down.
I'm going to catch Murray's tired shoulder before she exits the room. I don't know why my brother wanted me to help you, but I will.
I don't know why you want that either. Or with what. Seems even in death, that motherfucker is always 3 steps ahead of everybody, including us.
Tormented me when I was a kid, and he's doing it from beyond the grave.
Well, I think we're just getting started.
I'm sorry for everything, Hal. All of this. It's not fair to you.
Where's your brother being interred? Do you know?
What a great question.
Probably a family crypt, I imagine. Maybe not.
There are plots and family graves in the Tintazi wood, and there are some smaller graveyards and places like that closer to the Rookery. I think looking at the map of Dol Makyar here,
would he have told me what he wanted?
Or would the family have been
Baronessa?
Thiazi, frustratingly, changed his answer every time you spoke to him. So when he was a kid, he was like, I want them to, he's like, I want them to bury me under the Guardian Wall with the other heroes. And then the next time you asked him in the War of Axe and when you guys were like kids, or, fighting, and it was like death was around the corner, there was a moment where blood was covering the entire side of his face. He'd been hit in the head by some kind of arrow or bolt that was glancing, and you thought he was gone. Like, he was sort of like catatonic. And talking him back through it, you were like, if the worst were to happen, and he looked at you and went, I'm never going to die. And there was another time after that. Where and then there was a time where he was where he was the most in love with Aranessa he could be, and he said, "There's a beautiful tree, and they'll bury us there, and our souls will go to fairy together, and we'll live with the fairies and all this stuff." And then the last time you spoke with him, he was like, he said the very last time he spoke, he probably said, "Near Dad." Who is in a small cemetery, I think probably closer to the rookery, like up the Bright Brook a little bit into the mountains.
Well, that's an interesting question. Which location? Gosh, I guess I have to make time for that. There's a hill above the city I have in mind.
Fitting. He'll like that.
You can continue to watch over us. All right, so tomorrow at the theater, early afternoon. Azune.
Okay.
Let's get you some rest. Go to bed.
Bye. Murray stumbles out first.
I hand you a piece of paper on the way out.
Thank you.
It's close enough to finish. I'll give you the rest.
All right. Great.
Murray, you head off back to the Pentevral. Bolaire.
I'm going to go to my apartment because I do not want to see the museum right now. I need a breather.
What neighborhood is your apartment in?
I would be. It's not. What's upper middle class these days?
I would say that probably Rosagar is upper middle class.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, say Rosagar.
Yeah, that's not too far from the museum either.
Yeah.
Oh, right next to the. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go to my reasonable, very sparse. Well, what would be the phrase? Slightly modern.
Minimalist?
Minimalist.
Yeah, it's a minimalist apartment. I keep my mess in my office.
You would. Brutalist, minimalist apartment.
Quiet.
Do I live at the Brethren Hall?
Looks like Kim
I don't
McSteve's house.
I don't think so. I think you would have your own home.
That would be so
bleak.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I think you have your own home.
Okay.
You have your own home. I think, Bolaire, Murray, you get back to the Pentevral. You have there's free room and board for the
sleeping quarters.
Yeah, sleeping quarters.
Kind of thing.
Most expensive squares money can buy is what my apartment is.
And I think you look down at I think your little flat minimalist flat is probably within the bounds of Sir Ogremach's marketplace.
Yep.
Which at this time of night used to have a little mummers troupe outside that would do little arcane busking and little bardic enhanced music, but it has been dreadfully silent ever since they outlawed arcane magic in the marketplace. For Hal and Azune, after a few minutes, you guys head off together, headed towards the rookery.
Yeah.
Great. As you guys are walking to the rookery, are you guys engaged in conversation, or what are you doing?
I'm turning thoughts over in my head, but I'm not offering much on the way.
I'm not talking unless I'm spoken to.
You guys walk side by side. Silent, for the most part, lost in thought. Azune, you only know Hal through his brother.
I'm not looking at him. I'm walking next to him and I have him in my periphery.
You turn the corner and see there's like a little wind. You can't see the road. It kind of winds too much in this part of town, but you can see the little top of Hal's house. And you can see that there's a little window to Shadia's room that has been closed up, and you can see that there is a small, like, cloth, like bed sheet sort of tied together, hanging out of it. So she's like headed out for the night. It's her little symbol to you, essentially, of like, I've dipped out of here and I'm on my way over to the other house. As an acrobat, she likes to show off by like heading out over the roofs and doing her thing.
Immediately feel 15 pounds lighter, seeing that she's vacated the house.
Azune, you see the top of the house where Thiazi also partially grew up. And I think there's a moment. Let me ask you a question here. Who of the torn banner took in a young Azune when he first started the Falconers Rebellion in another mercenary company? Who was the person that got him, or that was...
collected me?
Collected you, essentially.
It was Thiazi.
I think you just see this smiling, stubbly face as you've been essentially like the Gallows Choir, the mercenary company you started working with, basically left you abandoned at the first large place. They took a contract. They left with Mayali, and standing there as, honestly, this happened quickly. You were still 12. Mm-hmm. You just see this handsome, sort of swashbuckling, orcish, who's like aged out of being the young 19-year-old hero of the War of Axe and Vine and is now the sort of like mustier, seen more of the world hero of the Falconers Rebellion, looking down at you in the midst of this busy marketplace, like busy cross-section where different mercenary companies are saddling up with different groups. You know, someone's saying like, they'll be here on the morrow, the new company is coming. And you just see him looking at you going, Soldier, how old are you?
I'm old enough to use this, and I draw the sword that I have.
He looks and goes, all right. Are you old enough to use this? And you see he points over at a small hand cart. We got to get a bunch of sacks of potatoes back over to the wagons, and they're stored in this granary over here. He puts a hand on your shoulder. I don't doubt your bravery at all. You should not be here.
I have nowhere else to be.
We need someone who can work quick and help out behind the lines, moving gear and equipment, food, all right? And if you need someone to help teach you how to use that thing, and he gestures to the sword.
How long since that company left?
Probably you've been standing on this corner for like a day and a half.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Looks down. It's going to take a lot of us feeling that same way. Come on, we'll get you some food.
At that, my eyes get giant, and I feel my stomach rumble, and I follow him, and that all comes to me as I'm looking at this house.
You, Hal, give me a perception check.
It's not very good. It is a 10.
Okay. Azune, can you give me a perception check?
Natural 20.
Ho ho ho, what's up, baby?
You hear a voice as you are lost in that memory, looking up at the house that the man who saved your life, the man who saved your life again and again after that, the man who then, as you got older, you saved his life multiple times. You look up at the house where he and this guy next to you, who maybe you guys will get chances to save each other's lives. You look up and you hear a voice, like it's present, like it's in the air, say, "Remember." On a nat 20, on a 10 perception, how you see that a bit of light is cast forward from somewhere, and as you look up, you could almost swear that some daylight was emerging from Azune's eyes, like a sun setting behind an ocean, and then the light is gone. On that nat 20, Azune, something bad is waiting around the corner from here, in front of the Fang home.
Oh, I immediately take a couple quick steps forward and put my hand slowly out, low, so it's not up and obvious, but just low. And I'll point towards Hal and send a message. There's danger up ahead.
I don't say anything out loud, I just nod.
Man, as soon as you point, I follow the order.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it.
No.
No. Okay, good. Okay, here we go.
Pointing for clarification.
Yes.
So let me do the face too.
I'll message to you up ahead. In the house or around the corner from the house?
No. On that nat 20 perception, there was something. On that nat 20 perception, something's going on. You've had a hard time keeping a handle on yourself. The weight is all too much. It's like you've been at attention for your whole life because some general forgot to say at ease. And you're looking out, and nearby, there's danger, but also, you said remember to that candle. Why did you know to say that? And then you watched Bolaire and Murray. You're supposed to stay close to them. That's something. Thiazi didn't tell you to do that. But Thiazi is gone. But you know there's something there. You just see them. It's like a feeling of deja vu. Like you're looking at them and you're like, oh, and you go back. And in this moment, you look and you know how sometimes you'll experience deja vu even when you aren't seeing the thing that you're feeling again? Yeah. You have that feeling of deja vu of watching Murray and Bolaire bring Octus back. And looking at that moment, there was this thing where Murray's teeth were buzzing and that glass scalpel in Bolaire's hand was buzzing at the same frequency, these crystalline things. And you were looking down, realizing like Murray knew there was something. Murray, things that are important can sometimes hold so much weight in the flow of time that they can be felt before they happen, like a stone in a river that sends ripples upstream. And I think you feel like your presence at what happened with Octus has rattled you somehow. You're in a state of heightened feeling. And on that nat 20 perception, without being able to physically see it, there is a carriage of House Halifar parked outside of Hal's home. Your mortal eyes can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't smell it.
I feel it there in a way.
Yeah.
And And that's where I get the sense of danger.
Yes. And the danger I think you feel in that net on the highest possible roll is a danger that is ambient but not acute. And I think you realize that they are dangerous people and it is a dangerous time. But it will not be dangerous for Hal to return home. He lives there. The danger you actually realize you've already prevented, which was just not walking around the corner together.
Huh. I'm gonna gesture to the doorway to your home. The carriage that I'm feeling is in front of that doorway, not
parked across the street.
Parked across the
street. So it's visible. Mm-hmm. It's not making no effort to hide. It's parked there, 4 white horses. Large carriage.
That's
just
out of our view at this point?
Out of your view at this point.
Out of your view. So we don't see my front door.
You don't see your front door either.
Okay. I grab your shoulder and then pull in very close to your ear. I don't have message. And mutter very quietly, I am not my brother, but I have your back. And on that word back, it reverberates at the base of your skull and you receive a bardic inspiration, a D6.
Thank you. I want to go, I want to keep heading towards your front door. And as I'm feeling this sort of presence, I'm going to stand in the spot that carriage delivered Thiazi's body.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let myself actually catch up to myself in a way as I stand in the place that we brought him here. Just to feel whatever that reverberation is.
Yeah.
And just take a breath in. Also, there's a part of me that wants whatever that danger is, if it's watching me right now, I want them to see me standing there, strong, unafraid.
You walk by yourself, leaving Hal, correct? Or no, you're both walking together?
If Hal's accompanying me as he would normally head home, that's fine.
Okay.
I won't stop you.
Well, what's the read? Like, I'm playing this off of your reaction.
I just give you a nod. And I start to walk towards your home.
Okay. But no communication that it's dicey for me to go towards the home.
No.
Okay. All right, then I follow.
You follow. Do you stay close behind Azune, or do you walk side by side with him?
Side by side.
You turn around, walk up the street, and you see the carriage of the Halavar.
Halavar.
As you approach Azune, you see that as you approach the door, I think you see that there's a coachman and a footman on the carriage who regards you as you walk up. They're parked on the other side of the street. What do? You get to your front door. You can smell the sweet flowers Thaisha's druidicism have filled your home with.
And there's a coachman outside with the wagon?
With the wagon, and no one's at your door. They're just parked across the street from your home. They're technically in front.
Sketch, bro.
They're technically in front of the home, one of your neighbors' homes across the street.
The fucking feds are watching.
And it's dark out, and there's no. There is a person there, or there's no person there.
No one in your front door.
Oh hell no.
Your home
I thought you told me there was like a man waiting. Okay.
No, they're coffee and donuts, like Taliesin said.
I will send message to you, Hal, and I will say, is it safe for you here? I doubt it.
And I can reply to these messages.
You can reply,
It's been a
yes.
while. You can reply.
Yes, I can reply.
You should just hear my voice say, friend, hell if I know.
If we run, they'll know something.
Here's what I'd like to do. I just with my head, and I start to backtrack a little bit and go back around the other side of the house to below my daughter's window.
Yeah.
And I give that sheet a good tug. Is it secure?
It is secure, yeah.
I'm going to scale the wall up to the window.
Give me a DC, you call it DC 8 athletics or acrobatics.
Okay. DC 8, you say?
Yes.
We're all right, folks. It is a 15.
15. Up you go. Azune, you're posted at the front, correct?
Yes.
As Hal goes to walk around, it's a little bit of like another, that path isn't seeable by anybody else. So you just sort of vanish around into another part of the rookery as you walk up. And Azune, you post up at the front door. What is your stance as you post up there?
I'm now kind of giving this sort of, it's like I'm at work.
Yeah.
Like I'm scanning this place, and I'll actually burn a spell slot, and I'll use Detect Magic so that it looks like I'm doing precisely what I would do on a patrol, just assessing the magical signatures that are in this area.
The door to the carriage opens as you post up. Two enormous hounds on chains.
Oh my god.
And a knight of House Halevar.
I remember these doggies.
Come out the dogs. And walking across the street, filamental tattoos glowing, is an older knight of the House of Halevar. Looks at you and says, "Good evening, soldier. You are Marshal of the Revolutionary Guard, yes?"
I am indeed.
The gentleman you approached with, is he the resident of this home?
He is.
Do you know where he has gone?
I do not.
I understand. I am Sir Felonius Halevar, a member of the Chamber of Lords Advisory. May I ask what business of the Revolutionary Guard brings you here tonight?
Our patrols have been extended. Occasional night patrols are now in order. I just do as I'm told.
Go ahead and give me perception or persuasion or deception.
Okay. Come on.
They're the same score.
Yep. I love that. I love it when it doesn't matter.
I thought they were already in the house.
20.
20, dirty 20.
Who let the dogs in?
And just for flavor, do you feel that's more persuasion or deception?
Oh, yeah. I mean, deception.
Yeah, I love that. You see, he nods and says, "Good man, following orders." Well, that gentleman, Hallandil Fang, were you set to accompany him to this point, or is he under arrest?
No, he's not. I saw an individual walking alone, and as a part of my duty here to protect the citizens, I followed closely. As a part of my patrol, it was on my way anyway.
Are you currently standing watch over this house? And you see gestures to Hal's house.
No. Just doing my normal scans. Are you standing watch?
Such as it is, always, the light is ever watchful. Well, it's an exciting time. Candle Feast is almost upon us.
It is indeed.
Do you celebrate?
When I'm allowed. Usually I'm on duty.
It is a godless town, yes. When we are allowed, that's exactly right. When we are allowed. They shun us. They do. You see, he claps your shoulder and squeezes your upper arm. Good man, good man. What's your name, soldier?
Azune.
Azune. Good man.
I can assure you this street will be safe. There's no need for you to guard the fine citizens here with your illustrious light, I'm sure.
And you are an arcane marshal, yes?
I am.
We need more like you. More of the faithful that know that we cannot simply walk the path of the light, but we must be able to peer into the darkness. Good man.
Thank you, sir. You flatter me. We do need more like me. It's just really hard to make more like me.
Pride goeth before you.
I'm sorry. It's unbecoming of me and my job to jest.
No. A little bit of plain speech is needed from time to time. Well, I'll not keep you on your rounds. If that gentleman shows up again, please let him know that he is invited to come and speak with Her Radiance Photarch Yanessa at the Via Aurora.
Are you in need of an escort?
He looks down at his dogs. Never. I am my own escort, so to speak. Well, I'll leave you to your rounds. Do let Master Fang know we are interested in speaking to him. You haven't by any chance seen a warrior of the Nama, a lion folk?
Not tonight. Whose name, so I can keep an ear out?
The individual, we believe, may have many aliases, but the one which we are searching out is Pridesire. You see, he stops for a second. Teor, or Taliesin. Either. Good man. And though we are not yet upon it, I hope that you have indeed a very blessed candle feast.
Same to you, good sir.
He turns around, gets into the carriage, and the carriage pulls away off down the street.
As they're pulling away, I will make like I'm walking to continue my rounds. And as soon as they're out of sight, I will turn back around and head towards Hal.
Hal, you get into your home. It's dark. Legend.
I think
You gotta keep the lights off. Don't light it up, candles, bro. You're not home.
in that lapse of time, if I didn't encounter anything, and the goal was to like get up there and listen for anything in the house.
Yeah.
But if I heard nothing, I would have been at a window on the second floor, halfway through that conversation, watching and listening.
My man, one of the nice things about the way that you can tell this is an orcish city is that light is exclusively in places of beauty and community, because you do not need lights on to see in your own home.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Get fucked, Lego. Not these feet. I mean, I love Lego.
But yeah, there you go.
Not the random ones on my floor.
Not the random ones on my floor. Exactly. I'm never stepping on a D4 again.
I know. I was just gonna say, you ever step on one of these guys?
Terrible. Even I love hard edged dice, but if you're a dice maker, you got to let people know if the D4 are also going to be at the sharp edge.
Oh God, they're the worst.
Hal, go ahead and give me perception with advantage. Actually, yeah, give me perception with advantage. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Dark vision is low key one of the best abilities.
It's amazing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's
Perception.
I like being the one person without it.
18. You catch. I think you catch that entire interaction from the point where, unbelievably to you, this guy, Felonius Halovar, is like the moment that he squeezes Azune's arm and is like, good man, and catch everything from that point on. Azune, the carriage takes off. Go ahead and give me if you'd be so kind, a stealth check. And you can do so with advantage here.
That is only a 13.
Okay. Copy that. You see that the carriage begins to pull away, gets to the corner, and you see that in the direction you walked, the guy gets out of the carriage down the street with the dogs, and you see the dogs begin sniffing around.
I start to quickly tiptoe back through the house, and I get to my daughter's window, and I'm like...
And pull the thing up?
Yes.
Great, hell yeah. As you pull the thing up, staying up there in the dark, like a few moments later, this guy Felonius comes to the alleyway with the two dogs. They get to the bottom of the wall, sniff where your tracks went, but suddenly there is no blanket there, and they go and start to look up and around. And you see Felonius down there, again, not being able to look up in the dark and see you, just goes, Arcanist must have made his way away somewhere.
I weave my hands in the dark from inside of Shadia's room, and an illusion of a cat appears on the railing of her balcony and goes, and I create the sound of a cat scurrying up the side of the building.
Hell yeah. Go ahead and give me deception.
Okay. I'll roll at advantage because of the Liar's Blade.
Oh, the Liar's Blade!
That is 22.
22. On a natural 1, the dogs turn, oh good, you found the scent! After him, boys! And the dogs tear off after this illusory cat into the rookery, vanishing from your doorstep.
Oh my gosh. All just adrenaline dumping through my entire body. And I will slowly, kind of in a daze, walk down the stairs and creep to the front door. There's windows to look out, and I see Azune there and no one else.
Azune there and no one else.
Yeah, I would have definitely steered clear from him as the dogs go, taking him in an opposite direction, but...
I'm gonna quietly open the door. I don't know if we're gonna make it to opening night. Get inside.
I follow Al inside.
You jump inside, and that's where we're going to take our break.
Over 2,000 lessons, over 100 videos for free? Yes, all the content on boot.dev is completely free. All the lesson explanations, the starter code, and even the videos. However, if you don't pay to become a member, then after a free trial of the interactive features, you'll find yourself in read-only mode. You'll still have all the content, but you won't be able to get personalized help from Boots, pass off lessons, view solutions, earn certificates, complete quests, or level up. So, if after trialing the interactivity you decide to keep it, use code BOOTS for 25% off your first payment. But if not, don't fret. You can still read and watch everything without opening your wallet. So go to boot.dev now and create a free account.
draw your weapons. The tabletop role-playing show where the players literally draw their weapons, among other things.
The players will all be recording the moments of the game sessions through hand-drawn depictions of the action and role play.
Without a word, just scowls and slaps you across the face.
Ooh. I slap her across the face.
Holy shit!
Critical hit.
Natural 20.
Let's go.
You know what time it is, BBs. It's time for the Critical Role shop stuff. It's comfy, it's cozy, it's perfect for you. Look at these. So small, but so cool. Make a hell of a fashion statement with this baby right here. Need more dice? These are nice.
Gonna wear this on the next full moon.
I'll take 3. For science, obviously.
Oh, that's going straight in the cart.
Oh man, that looks f***ing cool.
If anyone asks, this was a necessary expense.
I think I'll get it. And you should too! You know, then we can be twinsies. It'll be so much fun. You know you want it. Go on and get it at the Critical Role shop. Na.
Welcome to Weird Kids. I have never related so much to a character than I do Bilbo Baggins.
A little more Gandalf-y.
Yeah, you're more Gandalf-y. You need your party.
Parties are great, although people are exhausting. We were about to die salute.
That is spicy.
Oh God, why did I put another one in my mouth?
She's cursed.
I remember that forever on some level.
Sorry.
I have to say something.
Yeah.
Good day. Good day.
A pop pop.
Welcome to Weird Kids.
Letters.
Get it!
We return to the home of Hallandale Fang as Azune is pushed or pulled through the door into your home. Door is shut, no lights on, as the noise of those barking dogs chasing an illusory cat fades into the rookery.
Okay. I will stay at the window at the front door for 5 minutes just listening. Are we hearing an end to noise? It's late? How late are we talking?
It is, God, probably now like midnight.
Midnight. I hate this. Man. Okay, so last we heard of them, there was like an illusory cat screeching. The dogs went apeshit, and then they veered away from the home. So I'm going to wait for like five minutes or more.
You and Azune and Silas can move into the house, and there is the Ozzy's body still. Coins and other belongings here in this space.
And if we give it time, does the street go quiet?
Yeah. About 5 minutes. Quicker than that, the dogs vanish off into the night.
Let's go upstairs. Go on up to my study. I'll be right there. I just divert quietly still on edge into the kitchen, and I cut a couple slices of bread. I grab a little pot, crockery of honey, and some cheese that seems good, and I carry it upstairs on a tray and set it down on my desk when I find Azune in this study that you've been in a good number of times before.
Yeah. You walk out of the kitchen, still an absolute disaster from where Tyranny was trying to make a suicide.
Oh my God, that's right.
Good times.
Good times. Head upstairs with Azune. You see that there is a small series of like magician's silks that have been, it's not quite origami because it's made of fabric, but have been arranged into a small flower on the foot of your bed from Shadia. Near the window where she's made her getaway to go be with her sister and Elodie.
I take that and quietly, promptly, I have this little blue kerchief that is tied around the strap of the bag that I carry everywhere I go, which was made by my daughter Hero when she was a little girl learning the business from her mother. And I just carry that everywhere with me, and I take some of that silk and tie it next to this band from a much younger Hero and now from present-day Shadia. Have something to eat. Settle. I think we're okay for tonight for now.
Yeah, they had a message for you. You were being invited to have an audience with the Photarch.
Didn't want me dead?
Well, I don't know about that. They, at the very least, they want you to speak to their Grand Dame.
Great. Eat. I said eat. Have something to eat.
I don't even know where to sit. I'm standing, and I'm just...
I sit on the floor in the middle of this room, and there's like the desk and all of the like works in progress of like half-filled scrolls and parchment written and books opened up, and there's 2 large chaises in here, like old ones, threadbare, and you've slept on one of them on past visits here. But I just put the food down on the floor, and I sit there to make it like inviting you, so you don't have to be precious.
I'll put my weapons and my shield. I'll put it down. I'm still in my armor, and I'll just grab a chunk of that bread, and I'll fit as much of it in my mouth as possible, probably, and just chew it, swallow, quiet.
Watching him like I watch one of my kids pick at their food, waiting for them to get enough to eat. This isn't quite how I thought the night was going to go.
No, me neither. I should have been ready for that, and I wasn't.
I think we're in unprecedented times. I don't know if you can be ready for everything anymore. Boy, I hope that's not true. I think it is.
How? Do you think Thiazi purposefully chose not to break the glyph?
I don't know. I know he, at the last moments, saw something beyond me, above me. He looked skyward before he called out to the crowd. And I have been rolling it over in my mind since, and I can't make heads or tails of it.
Maybe he saw a vision of something, or maybe he was signaling something to someone. I don't know what it could mean, but do you think he gave up? He didn't know it wasn't real.
Plant my hand on your shoulder. I do not believe that my brother gave up. I don't know what happened, but that I don't believe.
He said something to me when I was talking to him, and he said, when I was scanning him, he said, "Not you, anyone but you." And I don't know why.
Well, he was fond of you. You know, I don't know what he said to you when he sent you to me. I know he told you that I could give you a place to stay when you first got to the city. But what he told me was to look after you. Get you on your feet. Take care of you like family.
Well, you did so much. You did more than that. You let me come over, and you let me have a place at your table for dinner. And why did you? What was the agreement between you and him? Why did you make so much room for me here?
I think he and I always liked strays. He asked me to look after you. I used to look after him till we got older, and then he didn't need it so much. I did my best to, anyway, when I could, within my reach. But he's gone. Something I've always feared. And now there's only me to look after you. And meager though I am, that is what I mean to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're a bit more formidable with your blade than I am with mine.
Sometimes when we were at dinner at your place here, I'd watch how you were with your kids and how you would wrestle with the different personalities that they had, and you were always so patient and kind, and I felt like I was watching, kind of like how I feel when I'm watching a play. In a way, it was real, but it felt like I imagine. I think my dad would have been a lot like you. I hope. And Hal, I knew that if our plan had worked, and I'm so sorry that it didn't, but I knew that if it had worked, I understood what would be my fate as a result of that, because there was going to be no out for me. The arcane marshal that was set to scan the prisoner, missing it, of course he would have done it on purpose. I was ready to repay everything that I was given by giving you your brother back. Because it would have been the most useful thing that I could have ever done, and it would have been the best thing for the cause that we have all been fighting for, is to have made sure that he would have lived.
I'm going to press my hand onto your chest.
I'm so sorry.
Listen to me.
I leaned into it.
You knew my brother. He lived the way he chose to live. He's been riding that line his entire life. And grappling with guilt, we all do it. Doesn't matter if it's rational or if it isn't. But I'm going to do this even if you can't. I'm going to absolve you of any of this. Because there's no blame on your shoulders. This world is what it is. Regardless, we do the best we can with what we have on the day. And right now, you and I need to lean on each other, and we're going to take that dwarven Mercer and my friend, and we're going to figure some things out, okay?
Okay.
But my brother doesn't need you whipping yourself. Believe me. My brother and I didn't see eye to eye, but I knew him. And I know you. You lived here. Played with my kids, eat at my table. I know you. You've done everything you can every day of your life.
I understand how, but in any war, there's collateral damage, and there's sacrifices that are made for the betterment of the cause. And Thiazi's life would have been worth 1,000 of me.
I grab him by the sides of the head. We don't get to choose. Life just happens. And we run along with it. do better tomorrow if we can. We can try to do better tomorrow.
I can do that. I have to do that.
Now here, come here. I grab a rag. You got snot running down your face. Clean you off.
I'm sorry you had to see me like this, Hal.
We'll take turns. I'll do it later.
Okay.
That's an IOU for me to break down and you to pick up the pieces.
I can do that.
All right. This is going to sound crazy. We should try to get some sleep.
I think I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Sure.
Thank you for everything.
That's what family does.
That's what family does.
I will wait him out like the quiet parent does until he falls asleep, and then I will try to get some sleep myself.
Azune, how long is it before you are lights out?
I honestly think faster than I could have ever anticipated. Pretty fast, especially after that load, like purging. And it's the way that it smells here. You know what I mean? It smells like it's so home and warm. I think still.
This is a space, you had your first dinner in Dol Makyar in this home. As many times as you needed, there was an open door here for you. Your life brought you somewhere else where you began to be able to make your own way. And there weren't hard, pragmatic reasons to come here as often. I don't know, maybe Azune misses some part of his life when there were pragmatic reasons that forced him to come to this warm place. And when he actually got up on his own 2 feet and was able to survive on his own, all of a sudden, the warmth of this place wasn't strictly necessary anymore.
An indulgence.
Yeah. You smell a house filled with every smell imaginable. The Thaisha's flowers still outside, the buzzing of bees. Downstairs there is liquor on the hard table spilled and cranberry rolls and old yargrass. There is a friend's body still covered in incense, but is now some just over 2 days dead.
Wow.
There is a there is druidic magic on the body, that is keeping it preserved until it can be interred. And yet still there is death and life here. This is a place filled with, there's the step that Thiazi skinned his knee on as a kid, and I think maybe Aligar or Shadi or both of them might have been born in this house. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, a lot of people have been here in the last couple days, and the love is still in the atmosphere. It's like a blanket.
You are in dreams. Al, I also don't know. I mean, Azune crashing in your bed? Where are you?
I
crashing
threw
the
out that
opposite?
there are two big, like, threadbare chaises in this office, this study.
Mm-hmm.
So he set him to rest in one, and I don't go to my bed. I just sleep on the other one.
Hell yeah.
Feels safer knowing that people with gigantic dogs could come crashing through the windows.
You go to sleep, look out, and see on your windowsill little mama magpie sleeping over her chicks that are all snoozing underneath her. And
Poofy fruit.
little poofy puffs. And with that, we return, I think, or we enter the following morning. Everyone gets a long rest. Everyone gets Marisha hasn't gotten her spells back since the start of the campaign.
Suddenly come down with the fantasy runs and can't sleep all night for some reason.
I finally, it's so hard when you're exhausted for roughly 6 months of gameplay because there was definitely, I know rolls that I should have been rolling at disadvantage and kept forgetting.
I love it.
But it's okay.
When does the roleplay start?
New day.
New day.
New portent.
Oh, new portent rolls. Let's see. Is today a day of great reckoning?
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Shake that 8-ball.
Okay, interesting.
What do we got?
13 and 11, so very, very mid.
You realize that days of great destiny are few and far between. Today is not a day of great destiny.
That's okay.
I imagine
work
you
with that.
reading your horoscope in the newspaper every morning and just,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yesterday
an old
you
friend will get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Yesterday the newspaper came with one section of red ink, all caps, saying "Do it now."
Yeah.
and then today it says, "A love interest in your life is around the corner." Yeah.
All right.
Lucky numbers are.
Question. I have heroic inspiration.
Yes.
I already have it.
Yes.
And it says if something gives you heroic inspiration and you already have it, you can give it to a player character in your group who lacks it.
Yes.
Mine, I get a new one after every long rest.
Hell yeah, love it.
I'm gonna give one to you then.
So just thank you, that's lovely. Does that radiate off your person? Is that because you're such a sweet boy that I get that?
Quietly licks you in your forehead.
I know, right? I think that it's like a lingering, almost like an echo of like time spent together. And as you wake up, it's not even that you remember me or the conversation that we had, but you just feel a sense of like just like a connection, unhampered, real.
Feels right in this family home. And then mechanically speaking, you also get one every day?
I have one every day.
So there's no point in me giving you one.
I don't
because you have one.
Yes.
And they're not here. Noted.
The following morning, Murray, we awaken in your quarters. What do Murray's quarters look like in the Penteveral? Have these been your same quarters for 25 years since you got hired here?
I think so.
I love that.
I think a lot of Murray is so very focused. She's been very dedicated to the Penteveral for the past, 2+ decades. I think when Murray is faced day to day with trying to help less fortunate kids seek the education that they are entitled to, the last thing on her mind is, but what if I had a guest bedroom? So I think it's just not even crossed her mind. However, shit is changing, and if it's gonna start sucking balls around here, maybe she should ask for more shit. I don't know. We're gonna think on that. But I think it is, it isn't certainly not like run down. I think it has a little bit of age, but I think in like a charming kind of cottage core way. I think it's probably, she's a maximalist. So I think there's like she's got like a gallery wall that's got like everything and anything hung up on it. It looks like one of those like old vintage powder rooms. I think maybe she's painted it like a rich, like dark purple maybe. And it's just got like portraits and trinkets and dried flowers hanging from it. And I think she's taken like, silks and vintage fabrics and she's hung them from the ceiling to where you can't see the ceiling anymore. It's just like very layered. It's very like plush and cozy. And cluttered, but in like an organized way. And it smells really good.
Is it like faculty housing that's just 20 years lived in?
Yes, correct.
Rent controlled.
And I think she's got like so many throw pillows, like more throw pillows on, like you can barely see the bed. It's just like lined with throw pillows.
Hard to find a place to sit.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
And you know, so she can like come in the evening and just like collapse. And then she definitely has, like on the windowsill, a collection of many different types of gems. So it's, you know, everything from your purple quartz to your sapphires to your peridots to anything like mineral. She's got like a very vast like gem collection.
Waking up, you see this garden of various gemstones and crystalline structures.
Yes.
Humming in the gray Dol Makyar sunlight, sort of, but a bright and kind of cheerful gray that comes through and dances on the crystals. You sense today is a day where you may have to make your own fortune, but maybe great catastrophes or maybe great catastrophes could be prevented on a day like today, but it feels that something has ebbed back from the wilds of the previous portent you had. You look out your window and just remember like coming to this place the very first time when you started here, when you made the choice to live in Dol Makyar full time, and this little sort of artsy bohemian area, and there's the little cafe on the corner where you would see Euripides waiting to talk to you in the morning. You used to talk to Euripides every day before it got so big and busy, and there's still that little cafe, this cute little corner in Dol Makyar, and the fun little artists and academics that live in your building.
Murray kind of reaches up and she's got like a few crystals even like hanging from the windows, and they kind of cast at certain times of the day, certain crystals catch it and create like a prism and creates a rainbow. Mm-hmm. She kind of like puts her hand up and runs her hand through the rainbow, almost seeing if she can sense anything vibrating from these crystals. She just takes a deep breath. Fuck it, and gets up and leaves.
You walk past, leaving this place. I also think that coming through the prism of the crystals on the ground is a larger area, because in your own home, why wouldn't you have a pre-made ritual circle to ritual cast
100%.
spells?
She's got a desk that's probably like a little scattered with little experiments, tomes, papers, everything that she's kind of doing as research on her own time that she's been doing for decades. She's never been formally trained. She has just only been granted the opportunity to absorb what's around her on the day-to-day basis. So yes, little ritual circle.
Making your way to the Pentevral. Where do you embark to first? Your office?
I think I'll stop at my office as per usual, drop off maybe a satchel of stuff. I think she maybe shuffles some papers around, looks at some invoices, some payroll that needs to be dealt with. Maybe a letter of recommendation that's come through, a letter of acceptance that needs to be sent. And she just kind of does that thing when you know you should be doing work, but don't want to. Where she just moves papers around a little bit and then heads to Dean Cora's office.
Knocking on the door, you hear a voice, "Come in."
I crack the door open. Morning.
Hi. Sorry,
Hi.
you know you
Sorry.
go.
No, can I come in?
By all means, pull up a seat. What can I do for you, Mary?
I feel like we maybe got off on the wrong foot.
Oh? You first?
I think it is
only proper and ladylike that I apologize. I was emotional. There's been a lot going on between you and me. I haven't been sleeping very well. And, I tend to prefer the type of change that I can find in spare pockets in my coats. There's a lot of change very quickly. And I took an evening to think about it and thought about what you said. I think it is best for the students that we work together, and with so much change, I still want to be there for them as an anchor and a familiar face, and I believe that you have just the best intentions, and you also just want what's best for the Penteveral and everyone within these glorious halls.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Okay. I hate that you're asking me for that.
Hate that for you.
I hate that for me. Natural 19.
Okay.
Or a 22.
For 22. Lovely. You see...
Kind of like dabs her cheeks a little bit as she says this.
She looks at you, squints her eyes. Should I cast Detect Magic for possible possession? What should I do in this moment? Are you serious right now?
It would be incredibly stupid of me to come in here and try and do some sort of cheap trick to undercut this. You understand that, right?
I'm very moved by that, Murray. I gracefully accept your apology. Thank you very much. And I think great things are afoot for the Penteveral. I think that this is the beginning. I think that we were at a fork in the road. There was a fork where we made a very, a stand against the Sundered Houses to immediately undercut our funding and underserve our students and watch as they, used their incredible resources to found a competing college of wizardry. I think that we were at a fork in the road, and that, look, you don't get to affect the future if you're not in the room.
Yeah. Gotta play the game if you want to win the game.
Exactly. Look, truth be told, Murray, I want to make myself of use to you as well. You are beloved. I'm not going to lie to you. You are beloved by our students. They like your ease with informal language. They like your, and frankly, you are a gifted wizard. And I think that you, and look, there are personnel changes that are going to happen here, right? There are personnel changes that are going to happen here. But the reality is, the period of time from whence this was a group of squabbling academics to get to the point where we could be in a position to align ourselves with the houses of Cormorant and Taconis, that gap, I think only you could have bridged that gap.
You flatter me.
And now you are not needed to. It does not have to fall fully and squarely on your shoulders. Now, imagine what we could do, given funding. If our bursar didn't have to spend the vast majority of her working hours finding some loose thread to pull to cover the next curricular semester. Imagine what we could do. There's just a lot more we can do. But I am very glad to hear you say this, because I think that unity matters. And I think that with Euripides stepping down, it's really good that you're staying. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
This bitch.
I know. It is. Everything she just said is fucking crazy to me just now. That's good too. 17 total.
Ooh.
I rolled a 16.
She is gleeful. She's gleeful.
Fantastic.
Because I think Murray, you're a very headstrong person, and you're entering into a game of politics and intrigue, and you're talking with Hal and Azune and Bolaire and these other people. You're a very headstrong person, and the Penteveril has always been about fucking truth and having candor, being blunt is one of the best instruments that academia can have, to just say what the fucking facts are. And you're now dealing with all these vipers, and it's maddening because it just delays the truth. But one part of being a truth seeker is actually useful here, and you realize that this is a gift in this moment that you do have, which is to not cloud your judgment with your own perspective, and to actually look at what someone else's perspective is. And I think on that high insight roll, you realize that Dean Cora got this job because she sold a bill of goods. She told people that Tuconis, you put me in charge, I'll whip that school into shape and I'll make it sing. And you coming in here saying, I'm not gonna we're gonna play nice, that she's realizing she'll get to go and report to whoever she reports to, saying all of
First box checked.
Yes.
Look at that. I'm already enacting change. I mean, I agree with everything you said 100%. I mean, I think, there's quite frankly many elements of the Penteveril here that has been maybe a little lost, a little dated in antiquity. I agree. I would much prefer any type of funding and any type of boons and blessings from the Sundered Houses to be filtered through here. I would love to make the request, however, some of these more poor, needy children, it is still important for us to consider them, and that's going to make the Penteveril look good, right? Everybody loves charity. So I am sure, I think I had an immediate knee-jerk reaction yesterday, where I guess I was just imagining the halls being flooded with a bunch of, trust fund kids just coming in and I think I'm sure there's going to be some of that, and that's fine, and they're entitled to that as well. But I see everyone equally, and I just want to make sure that maybe we could still have an attention to that. And beyond that, I want to be of use. I do want to be of use.
Well, let me dispel your concerns. Murray, the halls are going to be flooded with noble children, and they're going to be flooded with enterprising, exceptional children of workers and farmers and laborers, and because we're going to, if I can plan this out, I want to triple the size of the school in the next 5 years. I want to, these, if we accept these noble children at the rates that they can pay, then we go, and this Cormorant scholarship is aimed directly at, it's a scholarship. it's aimed at children who need financial help to come and fund their tuition and fund their tutelage. So, to answer your question, I don't think we're at odds. I think it's not an either or, it's a both. And we're going to be able to help so many. I'm a wizard just like you. I wasn't born with these innate magical gifts.
Oh my God.
But even
twinsies.
Well, listen, we're two women we're two dwarven women in a city with a lot of tall people running around who like to tell us all what time of day it is. Ugh. And I think if we go back to back, we can get a lot done around here.
I love this. You're such a badass.
You are.
Oh my God! Shut up! No.
Murray, I love this side of you that I'm seeing.
Like I said, I was just, it's all been a lot. I was a little bit emotional. I will say this too. I have a little pitch for you because if I am gonna have some bandwidth that is gonna be freed up, and I'm not gonna have to go, beg rich people for money. I think there's actually some good that I can do in maybe as like an ambassador, maybe like extending my outreach, our outreach of the Pentemporal to some other organizations. Are you actually familiar with, he's kind of a curious fella, Bolaire over at the Museum of Antiquities?
No, I'm not familiar. Bolaire is Antiquities. Is Bolaire a private merchant or is...
No, is she lying to me?
Give me an insight.
9.
I'm
looking at my portents like, do I bump it up 3? But I'll wait.
Curator.
It's the Arcanaut.
Yeah, of the
Bolaire what?
Curator Bolaire Lathalia.
Yeah, Bolaire Lathalia, I don't, of the Arcanaut.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Arcanaut. What? Interesting. What wing is he? Is he the? No, because you see, she looks and says, "No, I know the." She looks and says, "I know obviously Oscuro Milanti, who's gone by, but the Preserver, but." This is actually one of the curators of which wing?
The Lloy wing, I believe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The central wing.
Correct.
Well, fascinating. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait. What is your? This is connecting in my head. What is your pitch?
Well, we've kind of I just ran into him the other day, and I was like, oh my God, you're Bolaire.
Who is this?
And
Tracy, is that you? Sorry.
I love girls love when they're like, oh my God, we're like the same person. Anyway, he kind of had a proposition of maybe me helping him doing some organization, maybe doing some sorting, maybe figuring out some of these antiquities and artifacts that have quite honestly just been collecting dust over there, and what is the actual point of having access to a bunch of magical stuff if it's not going to get used more? He actually sent a little letter that I want to let me send a letter to
legible.
All right. Have you read this or no?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe that's improper.
No. I humbly request.
Wow.
I humbly request your head.
I wrote this while keeping eye contact with you.
I love it. I humbly request your lead, Murray Magnuson's particular skill set organizing the paperwork in the museum.
It just feels like we could maybe use this to our advantage.
Murray.
Cora.
What do you think Curator Lathalia would say about an internship program? The Cormorant Scholarship is based in public service and works. Specifically, they're looking for scholarship for people who either themselves or within their family have engaged in public service or works, either here in Dol Makyar or in Cormorant homeland throughout Old Obradimia. And they have a particular interest. Just look here. They have a particular interest in the Arcanaut right now. I was at
The Cormorants do.
Yes.
Interesting.
I was at a function at the Grey Tower. I was speaking to some members of the Revolutionary Council and the Chamber of Lords Advisory, and I met this lady Aabria Daysond Cormorant. We just shared some conversation over a glass of wine, but she mentioned the Lloy wing in particular.
Murray's eye, her eyes like twitching a little bit, and she's trying to like hide it every time the Cormorants are mentioned.
I would love to be able to pay her a visit, and if this Bolaire Lathalia is requesting your aid with some paperwork, I wonder if we could set up a beneficial arrangement if they require some assistance from the Penteveral, if we could impose on them as a favor to begin an educational program, as I believe some of these Cormorant scholars might be. If I can tell the Lady Aabria that the young children she wishes to send to our School of Wizardry might be put to work in the area of our city's fair museum that she's most interested in, I think that creates a very interesting opportunity for her, and I think it could endear House Cormorant to the Penteveral even more. Do you think...
That's fascinating.
You also come from a family of jewel merchants, yes?
Yes, yeah, the family Magnus and family jewels.
A joke. Well, I think that if you were to, under the Bursar's office, which after all deals in antiquities, you're the Bursar of antiquities, and what's the title? Sorry, I should know this.
I am the exact title to be 100% is Bursar of Aid and Antiquities.
Bursar of Aid and Antiquities.
Yes.
I believe that Master Lathalia has gone for far too long without an eager workforce looking to learn. It's on-the-job experience for young Penteveral students. It's endearing us to the Arcanaut and the curator of its most essential wing, and it's allowing a pathway for the Cormorant to, I think this really works.
This is already paying off. I feel like we're kind of like vibing right now. Like there's a level, right, that we're like connecting. I'm glad you like my idea. Thank you. You know, and I can maybe talk to some of the students. I do have a few students in mind that I think might just be star students. They might be the ones that we could at least start with, maybe do a little trial run. So I can maybe put my ear to the ground, see who might be interested in something like that. Would it mainly be students from House Cormorant?
Go ahead and give me persuasion. You got this. I'll say before you roll. DC 15 is a little bit of success. DC 20 is a lot of success.
You said persuasion?
Persuasion.
Do you have to use portent before, right?
No, you can use it after.
You can use it after.
Swap it out.
Just in case it's it's an 18, so that is going to be 21. Persuasion.
She looks at you and says, well, listen, we'll need, I I think this is a very worthwhile endeavor on behalf of the Cormorant, certainly. But I also don't want to send just you to wrangle 40 freshman interns running loose in our city's most grandiose and majestic civics institute of learning. So, noted. You'd actually be, and she looks at this huge stack of applications for the Cormorant Scholarship and says, may I abuse our newfound friendship?
It's not abuse if I like it.
You are so saucy. I love this. And you see she puts a stack of applications in front of you, says, if you could review those,
all right.
select who you want for the internship program.
Okay.
These are those students that have been approved for entry into the Penteveral, but select the ones that you'd like for the internship program, and get yourself. She reviews like a budget really quickly. Take a budget of, let's call it 20 gold per month, and hire some TAs for yourself from the grad students. So,
all right, fantastic.
So go ahead and this would be just pick who you think can speak with some level of. After all, we do want the. Let me be clear. There's a lot of politics to play here, but we do want to educate smart wizards. The long-term health of the Penteveral depends on us representing ourselves well in the world.
You got to have success stories. Right?
And so please go out and get some TAs that you think can wrangle a bunch of brand new minted freshmen, and B, actually teach and make sure that no one. I know half the curators there wear masks and gauntlets from blowing themselves apart. That's the last thing we need. So
that would be such a bad look.
So make sure that there's people that can keep these children.
Yes.
Honestly, a couple of diviners certainly, but maybe an abjurer or two is not a bad idea.
An abjurer. Got it.
Oh my God, Murray.
Cora.
It means a lot to me because, and I mean no offense by this, you are someone who is very set in your ways. Half of the people here that have congratulated me on assuming this position as 5th Dean of the Penteveral, half of them I have to wonder if their intentions are sincere. For you, who, forgive me, has not always had a way with words, I can be sure that you are sincere in your intent. So this is very meaningful, and I think we're off to a great start.
I look forward to this. There's a bright future ahead of us. I don't know, not to this is probably gonna sound silly, but I got up this morning and I felt it in the air. I was like, oh.
Today was a portentous day.
Today was a portentous day.
That is all I needed to hear. First full day as Dean is a portentous day, so says our bursar of aid and antiquities.
I've got a little knack for divinity myself, so you can trust that.
Well, go ahead and look for your TAs. Oh,
okay.
One TA who suddenly has a big mark on his record that I know is everyone's favorite, that please do not hire for this, would be Dimmitus Blicks, who just blew through a class he was supposed to teach this morning.
What?
So please.
What happened?
No show. No envelope sent. We went and knocked on his door. We don't know if we don't know, but a no-show. So,
what would I know about Dimmitus Blick? He's like a grad student?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a history, we'll call it history DC 8, but if you can beat that more, you'll know it by more. The Penteveral's gotten big.
Okay, he was a TA?
Yeah. Grad student.
Disappeared?
I don't know.
No.
Wait, what did you say? What was
8? You want to beat an 8?
But what was the roll for? Oh, history. Okay. 17?
17. Oh, you know Dimmitus. Yeah. Dimmitus is a 22-year-old. He's a graduate of the School of Illusion, has come back he's trying to get his doctorate, and actually, basically Dimmitus came as a 12-year-old kid, fell in love with the place. He's a young gnomish student. He has a condition. He's a young gnomish student. He has a condition where his irises are the color of whatever's behind him. It's like translucent that it comes through with him, and he's just an illusion savant. And he is he's really brilliant, very beloved, very funny. But he's a kid who is like #1 school spirit kid. He came here from, he was a student that basically came to boarding school and was dropped off here by his parents a long, long time ago, and basically has just always dreamed about being a professor at the Penteveral. So when he graduated,
this was like his first day of class, new opportunity kind of thing, and he didn't show.
Yep. One thing you would know about him is that Dimmitus was not financially supported by his family. So he would do a lot of like school spirit events that were also like, okay, I'm gonna fundraise for like a dare to do this act of magic on this special day. And it was like, you you also know that he made a lot of his like living because he did not have any financial support. He supplemented his living doing busking in the Ogremok marketplace, and when that got shut down, he couldn't do his little illusion shows anymore and lost a big source of income.
Oh no. I love this kid. Me in an NPC. Okay, that's so uncharacteristic of Dimmitus. He was in my office quite a lot as someone who needed financial aid.
I think sometimes
that's so strange.
I think sometimes for people that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just off nursing a hangover somewhere or whatever. But I do think sometimes when people come from a non-professional background, there can be a performance anxiety. There can be a you know what I'm saying. There can be the pressure got to him.
Wow, Murray in the back of her head is like, this dumb bitch does not know what she's talking about. 1, hangovers are expensive. He did not be able to afford a hangover, and 2, this guy was a performer. He did not. Okay, that is so strange. You know what? Maybe I'll do a little bit of research, but noted.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask around. All right. Well, fantastic. These are quite a lot of applications, so just give me a little bit of time to get through it. I'll kind of put my little
take your
thought,
time. Take your time. No rush. End of day is fine whenever you get a chance to. Yeah, end of day. Yeah.
Oh.
No rush. Just any time today is fine.
All right. Fantastic. Maybe tomorrow. Does that sound more reasonable? Because I was actually going to go. If you remember, the whole start of this conversation was me going to the Arcanon to help over there. So it's a busy day.
Great. Well, I'd love Master Lathalia's if he wants to help with them and see if he, maybe many hands make light work.
Yeah. No, you know what? I got you.
Marie.
Cora.
You're trouble. I can tell.
We're gonna have to go drinking one night.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'll see you at the next. I'm starting faculty mixers.
Oh my goodness.
We'll have it's 1 drink maximum, but we're gonna have but faculty mixers. We'll have them at the end of the month.
Okay.
Oh my God, you are too much. Get to work.
Okay, I've taken up too much of your time. I am so sorry.
All right. You get to work.
No, you. Work it. She leaves with a sack of papers.
Oh my God. You leave with a stack of papers. We cut over to Bolaire.
Bolaire, like, jumps awake. Is it my birthday? Wow.
Oh my
sorry.
God.
I cannot wait to know that. Wow. Oh,
incredible.
Right.
I think Cora is one of the worst people I've ever embodied.
What do you mean?
I played Asmodeus, and I don't.
Even Asmodeus is like, what the fuck is wrong with
What's
you?
wrong with you?
God.
Faculty mixer, one drink maximum. Oh
God.
Don't make me go to a fucking work event where I can't drink.
Yeah. Yes. You see, so Bolaire.
Yeah.
Hey, a new day dawns.
A new day dawns. I wake up. The stoic face just has a little bit of movement as I wake up in a very nice large bed. That's very clean, in a very clean bedroom with some beautiful large impressionist art on the walls. The first thing I see as the light comes through. The bedside tables are very clean. One has a couple books on it that I read, and the other one is bare and empty. I go into a powder room that is mostly cement, very industrial and clean, and still has light coming through from some nice skylights in the corner. And I remove my wig, and I've already taken my suit off. Normally I do not sleep in the red wig, but I'm nervous. And I clean the body as best I can. Perfume. Get dressed. Put the wig back on and start to make my way to the living room. Again, the sun is bright and beautiful. There are little paper theaters. There's not a lot in here, but like there's always that little bit of art. Instead of a fruit bowl, there are just a few meticulously curated books that clearly are there to be read. And a series of paper theaters. There's a shadow puppet theater. There's a couple complicated ones just made out of paper and sticks, clearly based on classic theaters that don't exist anymore from the time before the war. There's a little very cubist art in the living room, a couple very uncomfortable looking couches. And then at the very end, there is a kitchen that is so clean, except for there is a bowl of fruit and a baguette and some jerky. And there is way too much fruit. And at one end, it is just rotted to death. And slowly the pile gets fresher and fresher towards the front. I go out and buy the food even though I'm not eating it, just to keep up appearances. And often I'll forget to throw it away. There is a couple very moldy loaves of bread, one that's relatively clean, and the jerky holds, and there's a pitcher of water. I pour myself a glass of water, a little bit of fruit, and a tiny bit of bread and a tiny bit of jerky. And as I open my mouth, you can see somewhere in the darkness a set of lips and teeth. As I eat a little bit of bread, a little bit of meat, and a little bit of fruit, and a glass of water.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh boy, greetings, fellow human.
Wow.
As
it then disappears back into the shadow, I look in the mirror.
God, you got like an alien queen mouth.
No. There you go, Aabria. You get one more day, don't you? I can't wait to talk.
Different days, different days.
Oh, wow. Also, I would say clearly there was no actual delight in the food. It seemed like the food didn't even touch lips. There was no flavor that really registered.
Taliesin finally took his final form.
I know.
Oh my God.
I suppose it's time to go out and get a sense of things. I'm going to head to the museum and get a sense of where the other curator is on this whole debacle.
arriving at the Arcanod, you see, getting there at the beginning of the day, it opens. You see that some of your docents and other people are already at work as people come in. Some have traveled all the way from other far-flung places of Ahriman to come here and see the Arcanod. You see some people gasping and looking up at the various weapons and arcane artillery and other things gathered here. But that central exhibit with that one last pariah blade, people come to look at that one, gaze at it. You see just admiring faces, and walking across the campus, there's a beautiful garden with white kind of marble, or not marble, but there's like beautiful white mica-flecked gravel stones. You walk across, small cafeteria, over to another area, and you enter the Celadine wing, which is unlike the Lloy wing, which is sort of like in the bright gray of the sunshine here in Dol Makyar. You enter the Celadine wing, which is very much ensconced in shadow with very dramatic, harsh beams of yellow light that come in to sort of undercut the weapons of the Shapers. You see here, they're like artifacts and old emblems of the gods that are all depicted here, almost like walking around a corner, there's almost a sudden jump scare of like an emblem of Osgra's snarling face in stone, or other places where it's, again, nothing is moving, nothing is animated, but just like as you walk around a corner, there suddenly is Tonsul's glaring visage, or you see the haughty, wide-eyed stare of Illumi, goddess of magic, her arm outstretched. A long wall where you see depicted are the legends and tales of the deaths of the four primordials, wedded and married to the various, Shapers that they were wedded to. How, Trojna took Tehana and spun her body into all of the gold and silver and jewels of the earth until her wife was gone. You see, there's like all of these legends throughout of the Shapers and the various primordials, and you see in this place a figure looking down, turning around, tall, about like 6'5", but extremely reedy, kind of skinny. You see there's a bespectacled orcish gentleman who's wearing some robes. You see he has a partial mask over over an ear that covers like a bad injury on his ear, and a fine silver like half gauntlet just sort of covers his fingers. You know that two of those are prosthesis. This is the curator Makmaz Gelfidar. You head over to Makmar here as he turns and says, "Oh, Master Lathalia, it is good to see you."
Wonderful to see you as well. I was hoping to get a bit of your time. I assume that you know the state of things right now.
The state of things. Oh, yes. The Lady Daysson Cormorant.
Ah, sharp as ever.
Yes. What do you make of it?
I don't know. It is peculiar. And it definitely comes at an odd time. Things seem to be... Everything seems to have shifting sand beneath it right now in the city. I can't imagine that you actually want to fold your collection into mine.
No, hardly.
And this is a terrifying prospect of the amount of material that's going to have to move.
Staggering expense.
A mess of paperwork, because I'm sure, as you know, there's no such thing as a museum with functional paperwork. Everything's a disaster. Oh, but we're going to have to move it quickly.
They don't intend for us to share the same vault, do they?
I think they do.
This is a nightmare.
I'm so glad you think so. So, what do you plan on doing about it? Since clearly they plan on keeping you on and not me.
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Thank you, because I'm curious if this is landing.
Huh?
19.
Makmaz is looking at you. He doesn't prefer you.
No.
I know that look.
But the thing about this guy that you kind of believe or understand is that he doesn't really prefer anyone. So it's hard to say that...
We have that in common.
Yeah. I think on that insight check, you look at him and you see he goes, look, Bolaire, I have no issue with telling you the truth as I see it. We can't fold these into the same wing. It doesn't make sense. The museum does not have the pieces here. Nor do I think the Lloy will continue to wish for their name to be on this wing if it is possessing the artifacts of the Shapers.
I'm already hearing rumblings from them.
Really? Who are you hearing rumblings from?
Sadly, I am not at liberty to say yet. But you know me. People talk to me. I'm very trustworthy.
Yes. A very trustworthy face. Look, Bolaire, my understanding is the intentions of the Cormorant are to move the Saladin wing into the Lloy wing.
What? That was not what I was told.
What were you told?
I was told that we were moving...
The Lloy wing?
The Lloyd wing here.
Both of those can be true. I think doing a swap, maybe?
That doesn't make the slightest bit of sense. I mean, I'm not going to say that this is my preferred environment. I'm sure the students love it. But there's nothing for us here, and there's certainly nothing for you over there. Why bother?
I cannot say. I mean, I cannot say. The Saladin wing is about, what, half the size of the Lloy wing? So you're going to have to make some curatorial choices about what gets displayed.
And what happens to the rest of it?
Well, maybe you can write a letter to the Lady Aabria de St. Cormorant. Or, as you said, people love to talk to you. Maybe you can talk to her.
I would much prefer to have you on my side, or at least I would much prefer for you to have me on your side, if it makes you feel better. A united front about what to do about this would be delightful. I am curious what they plan on doing. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Is it possible that both vaults, I mean, who knows? Both vaults could end up moving their collections somewhere else. They might close the collections. They might be building an entirely new wing. No one will see our collections. We won't be able to touch anything for 6 years? 8 years? How much longer do you have before we... I mean, I can't tell. You've never looked well.
Well, I would return the insult if I knew how you looked.
Well, I appreciate that you keep turning the other cheek.
I find you distasteful.
And I find you dull. Which is why we work so well together, because we know where we stand.
Bolaire, let's imagine for a moment that I'm a hero and that I love you. What I'm gonna do? Tell the Cormorant where they can put their artifacts? No.
Really? What do you think they'd say to that?
I say, on behalf of the Arcanaud and the Revolutionary Council, take your winged scroll and shove it up your ass? No, I don't think so. I don't know if you talk to people outside of this museum, but there's a strong wind blowing out in the city. I can tell what direction it's blowing, can you?
There is a wind. And I can tell. I suppose I'm curious whether or not you're standing upwind or downwind. We're going to need friends. Things are going to get complicated. And we're going to have to be careful. What will you do if they take away your little wing?
Every day, I come to a wing dedicated to the great weapons of the most powerful beings that have ever walked our world, who lost. So, I'm not one for blind hope. I think if they come for me, I lose.
If they come for us, though. It is actually the fundamental problem with this wing. You know that, right? You said it yourself, these aren't the most powerful beings that have ever walked this earth, this soil. We are. Because we won.
Give me either intimidate or persuasion, if you'd be so kind.
Boy, yeah.
Whichever you think is more appropriate. I'll say, if you give me, do you have the same bonus to both?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Then go ahead and roll. It's a little mixture of the two.
Yeah.
17.
17. He looks to you and says, every day I walk the halls of the weapons that failed to win in the hands of the gods and their champions. You see, he uses the word gods purposefully here. And every day you walk in the hall of the weapons that struck down the Shapers in the hands of brave mortals. Maybe I'm a little too pessimistic. Maybe you're a little too optimistic. If I hear anything, I'll keep talking to you. After all, people love to talk to you.
I apologize for the number of truly irritating people that are going to be running through here, poorly cataloging everything. I'm going to make this as complicated as humanly possible. And who knows? Between the two of us, we have all of the mightiest weapons. No one's ever faced them all before.
Go ahead and add, just roll a d6 for me.
Yay, I get to use my new d6. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I think you add 5 to that persuasion roll. With that little barb at the end. He says, no one ever has faced them all. If you count on me to be brave, I will disappoint you. If you can count on me to be scared, you might find a worthy friend.
We're archaeologists. We don't fear shit. But yes, I'll keep you safe. We need wisdom to prevail. And if it comes to it, I don't know what you did during the rebellion, but I'm preparing to lose my peace again. And you're a good man, as much as I find you insufferable.
Always a treat, Bolaire.
We'll talk. Let me know if you hear anything. Just send a letter to my,
I'm not sending shit to you in writing. I'll see you in the break room. You see,
Sent an intern.
he walks away.
That was very smart.
Wow.
Writing.
And he walks away. We move over, I believe, to we wake up the next morning in the Fang.
Never have two curators been that nice to each other. Any museum on Earth. Okay. Shit. Thank you.
Cool. Hell yeah. Hal and Azune, I think you guys start your day and probably have to get up and running.
Yeah, I could get up pretty early, before the sun comes up.
Cool.
I get up early as well.
All right, well, a lot to do. Not enough hours in the day.
Right.
Meet at the theater. Meet at the Round.
Meet at the Round.
In the afternoon.
I'm gonna go out the back door.
Go for it.
And I'm trying to have as normal a day as possible.
Hell yeah.
I have stayed here before, so this is all along those lines.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna do my walk towards Falcon's Rest.
You go to the Falcon's Rest. Go ahead and roll a d20 luck check in front of the board for me. You're looking for an 18, 19, or 20.
Let's go.
Let's go. This one.
Whoa! Nat 20!
Natural 20!
Drop like a rock.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. You head out from Hal's home.
Yes.
Walk to the Falcon's Rest. And you look up and see that. God, hold on a second. This is crazy. Nat 20. We have to honor this. This has to be really cool. Hold on. We're gonna honor this.
Okay.
I asked for a luck check. You got a Nat 20. I give you 3 out of 20 odds. And you rolled a Nat 20.
You see the GM behind a curtain go,
Pay no attention.
Amazing.
Don't worry, sir. I didn't see you playing with your toys.
You walk up and you walk up in this moment, and I think you see. Hold on, I know this is crazy. I am gonna have to consult our timeline.
Okay. Oh,
He's gotta talk to the timeline.
Okay, copy that. No, this is great.
You beat me to it.
Felt it coming. Going back in the TARDIS.
2 warping to level 4.
You walk up and see, as you approach the Falcon's Rest, waiting by the colonnade where the names are written, you look and see a couple things. Number one, the Falcon's nests up here are empty.
Okay.
You don't see any birds, any laid eggs up here, but also you see Varen Cadorn. This is a tall human shaved head. You see he's wearing half plate, so like a little bit more mobile than full plate armor, but still very heavily armored.
Yes.
He looks over at you and sees you approaching and begins to walk right towards you, looking sleepless and upset.
Okay.
He walks up to you and goes, Azune, you're here.
Yes.
I thought I might find you here.
Wait. We might be watched. We must do as we normally would, and I'll handle how we have our conversation. And I will walk towards Falcon's Rest, and I'm going to cross my arm and keep myself pointing in his direction as I am going to spam cast until you tell me I can't. Message, so that we can have this kind of conversation in our minds.
Yeah. He looks at you and goes, we need to talk.
Yes.
I was, so you know I've been posted at the El Brendi. I've been working for the El Brendi for a while.
Yes.
We got a letter late in the night last night that some of our, a cousin of one of the young lords was working traveling with some men-at-arms. There's been a massive arrest in Riesengirdle of all of our men-at-arms that were supposed to bring up a advance caravan. You know, I'm not one of these nobles. I protect the house when the El Brendi are back in Tel Mor. I'm just here to basically watch over a bunch of servants and waitstaff while they're interests are managed here in the interim. But we got a letter telling us to be aware that we might be arrested. House Einfasen has put a bunch of Royce and Elbrendi and Divinos bannermen under arrest on the other side of the Dol Makyar Pass.
Threatening arrest?
No, effected arrest.
Effective.
I don't know if I need. Have you heard anything? Do I need to go into hiding?
Maybe. I haven't heard anything. So they're effectively arresting any of House Royce's vassals.
That's the message we got.
Baron, I came here hoping to ask you quite a favor, and I didn't realize that you would be under threat.
What favor do you need?
Well, this is all happening. None of this is a coincidence. There is a power.
What did they do?
Happening.
Where are the fucking falcons? You see, he looks around. I think. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Oh my God.
You're
oh my fucking God.
Oh my God.
A second nat 20.
Yes.
It's a different die.
It's a different die.
God, wow.
He's having his sudden shift to speaking about the Falcons. He's having you can sense a traumatic episode coming on that he's on the verge.
Yes,
of.
He's having.
Yeah.
I am gonna do what Hal did for me. Is I'm gonna approach him. I'm gonna put my hand on his chest, and I'm gonna on the other hand on his shoulder, and I'm just gonna press.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say, breathe, breathe, breathe. Right now, you're not in danger. Right now, we need level heads. We need to figure out what's happening. You might be under threat, but we cannot just run. They're doing everything they can to intimidate us, and they're moving fast. The Falcons that aren't here anymore, of course, this is all their fault. They did this. I think you need to resign. You and whoever else you know that's working for any house that's a vassal house to House Royce, you all need to resign.
Okay.
And then you need to come work for us.
The guard?
No. There's a lot more happening. As much as they're moving, as quickly as they are, there are forces in opposition that are already moving. You are not alone. The Falcon's cry is still being heard, piercing the sky for any of those that are willing to hear it. Are you willing to hear it? Because you cannot come here at Falcon's Rest and just think upon those of our fallen friends from the Falconers' Rebellion and think that that is a way to pay homage to them. No, it is time to act. That is the best way that we can make their sacrifice and make their memories come alive.
Azune. I've been stuck for years. And you see he puts a hand on your shoulder this time and says, I think we've all been waiting for it to cry again. And if you hear it, I'm with you. Tell me where to go. Tell me if you need me to tell the others, I'll tell everyone I know.
We need people that we can trust. And we need to play the game like how they play it. Right now, the Revolutionary Guard has been decimated. They've let go of the majority of the Revolutionary Guard to have them poached by the Sundered Houses. I saw a mercenary group recruiting people. They can't tell us apart one from the other. I want you and those that you trust to act as though you were members of the Revolutionary Guard, dismissed looking for another opportunity, and seek employment with those mercenary groups that are under those Sundered Houses, because we need eyes and ears inside.
He looks and says, I mean, they poached me 5 years ago. I understand. All right. What's the... They let go of the Revolutionary Guard, and you think that they did it... I mean, they could do it for multiple reasons, but they're trying to poach them?
They're weakening whatever the city has to be able to stand on its own 2 feet.
Where did you see everyone going? What house are they flocking to?
It was a mercenary group that I didn't recognize, but I know it was under the Candescent Creed banner.
Okay.
But it would also help if we had a number of people in other houses as well.
I'm in touch. This detail they've got me on, they all have manor houses here, but I know some of the people at Obermis, which is the Taconis Manor. I know some of the folks over at Divinos, obviously, and the Villa Aurora, and I'm gonna go collect names. I'm gonna go knock some heads.
Yes.
I'll let you know. Where can I find you?
You can find me here.
All right.
And if you don't, you might see a dwarven woman. She looks to be of the Penteveral, but she's on our side.
Okay.
Her name is Marie.
Yeah.
If I'm not here, you speak to her just as you would to me.
I understand. All right. I don't want to stay any longer, but if this... I don't know what's happening, and maybe I don't need to, but... They put you on the Thiazi detail, right?
They did.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Names, heads. I'll be back here when I know something. Action. You see that he clasps you to him and walks off into the gray of the early morning. Sick rolls, man.
I'm lucky.
Unbelievable.
I do have the lucky feet.
I do have the lucky feet. You continue.
I have the lucky feet too. I keep forgetting that.
You continue on down to the Brethren Hall.
Yes.
As you arrive there, you see that Captain Fazir looks to you and says, Lieutenant Nayar, you will, your first task of the day, you've actually been called to special report. Slides over. There is a full investigation of possible magical wrongdoing at the Palazzo Divinos.
Does he hand me something?
He hands you a small slip written, signed by the Lord Herondus Einfassen.
Oh. What have you heard, Captain? The streets have been talking about what might have happened there. Suspicious things?
We're hearing. It seems that the Royce have reopened the door to ferry. There are some reports that the Royce may have kidnapped some of the servants and laborers and taken them with them through the door to ferry.
Oh, no. Does that strike you as something characteristic of the Royce?
There's a handful of those who are missing. We don't know if they're missing or they've turned up or what, but an investigation has been called for because there was illusory magic present, and so, that's why we're going. Otherwise, it's a missing person, so it has nothing to do with the arcane marshals, but we're going because there was magic present there.
And it looks like, by we, you mean me.
You've been requested personally.
Understood. Captain, how's your sense of the morale of those of us that have stayed in the Revolutionary Guard?
I'd say morale is at an all-time low, Azune.
Yeah, we need to do something about that. What are you going to do about that, Captain?
Give me persuasion and then give me insight.
persuasion. A natural 1.
You got that luck feat?
I am. Oh, well, luck is now you have to declare it beforehand and it gives you advantage. But I'm going to use my heroic inspiration.
Luck's changed?
Luck has changed.
Sure, at least erase the 1, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to use my heroic inspiration and roll again. I'm going to roll a different one.
Can you use luck now?
I think I could.
You don't have to.
But I'm going to save that.
Yeah.
I will.
Is it cocked?
No, it's not. It's this was a persuasion, a 15.
A 15,
and
okay.
Then I have insight. Do you want the insight immediately?
Yeah, I got the insight immediately.
Okay, this one.
Nat 1?
No.
Nat 20?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
What is
I've
happening?
never, ever in my life.
What a streak.
I use these dice.
What a streak.
And except for the one that I have for my character, I use these dice all the time, and they're never this hot.
What the shit? Maybe it is a portent day.
Yeah. You know it. On reviving too.
We're reviving.
On a natural 20. On a natural 20, you look and find that there is natural 20 insight. Captain Vizier is not going to rock the boat. He does not have the soul of a hero.
Yes.
He is not going to rock the boat. On a 15 persuasion, he looks and says, well, I think you're right that something is in order. Perhaps we can gather the troops together at the mead hall down the street and
yeah.
More camaraderie is probably the order of the day.
You're right, Captain. You have a lot on your plate, and you, of course, have been through so much. Allow me to assume some responsibility in your stead.
I appreciate that. You seem to have come into the favor of Lord Einfassen, so by all means. On your way, Lieutenant?
Yes. Yes, sir. And I will make my way.
Making my way. You head over to the Palazzo Divinos, a place you've already investigated the night before.
Am I? And I'm alone.
No, not the night before, but the night before the night before.
It all blends together.
Seems suspicious.
One day,
am I not assigned any of my?
Your guard. Your inspector.
Oh, my guard is with me. Okay, great. Okay.
Do we like Captain Vizier? Do we like him, or
Not
is
after
he just
that.
Mid? Yeah.
Captain, I think that the correct read is that Captain Vizier is nice and mid.
He's
Yes.
nice and mid. He's not.
Yes, he is not going to do anything that's going to put him at risk.
Yeah.
He's grassy.
Still toe the line.
He bends with the wind.
Yes.
Turtle.
Yep. I think on my way with my detail, as I'm approaching the Palazzo Divinos, I'm really concerned over them, and I immediately want to kind of get a sense of how they're doing, how deflated they are, how scared they are, and yeah, I'm just gonna try to be the leader that I haven't been for them, and that they deserve. I'm certain you are all struggling to keep up with these changing winds. I am as well, and I want to assure you all that although I may not have been the most forthcoming and the most verbose, as your lieutenant, I want to make sure you all know that I am, without a doubt, here for each and every one of you. I know we all had friends, and some of us had family that were dismissed. If you're upset, you have every right to be. You have someone to come to. I will be that person for you. And I want you as we move forward to do what this Revolutionary Guard under new supervision asks us to do, I want you all to remember who we truly are in service to in this city, and that is the people. And I'll point as we walk to the people that are going about their day. The children of the city, the elderly, the newly in love couples. These are who we are in service to. And you can, in spite of how rocked you might feel, hold them as well, because we are one of the last remaining forces that can help protect them.
Go ahead and give me persuasion with advantage.
Come on, baby.
Let's see if this hot streak continues.
Yeah, you can do it.
Wait, what is this?
What is that?
Oh, okay. Okay. It's a 13.
13. You see that your soldiers, Horus, Dala, and Grotto, look at you. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Okay. This one. Oh, boy. That is a 7.
I think you look at your...
I got too happy at my dice rolls.
Your detail here, and I think that you see that there is, on a 7 insight, they nod back and they say, "Thank you, Lieutenant."
Oh, 15, I'm sorry, on the persuasion.
15 on persuasion.
Yeah.
They look, I think you see them look happy that they have been told they can come and talk to you. But I don't think you get any deep sense of the mission under here. And I think that there's a possibility that the clarity you got on your captain, where you're like, that bridge is rickety, don't cross that bridge.
Yeah.
You sadly don't have the same clarity of your subordinates. They are following your orders and are being respectful to you.
Yes.
And you don't know if that's because they believe in a cause, or they're collecting a paycheck, or they're wondering what the benefits are with the Sons of the Dawn. You just don't know.
I'm going to have faith in them, and am going to not press it. Sometimes some things are a little bit more of a long game. It takes more than one moment of contact to nudge something that's heavier to move. And I'm going to just say to them, you know how to do your jobs. You do them well. Let's begin.
I also think in this question, Azune, for you, so much of your job has been about being in this position because of what it did for Thiazi and his efforts, and touching this over here, and Murray and Bolaire and this other stuff. Does Azune have a long history of leadership within his own unit? Or do you think Azune is someone who has really thought long and hard about his unit before now? Or is this something that is changing?
This is a change.
Yeah.
I think the centerpiece of what I would think about in terms of what needed to get done, it revolved around what I thought Thiazi needed.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think I'm recognizing that I might need to light some of my own fires, like he told me.
You head out from there, heading towards the Palazzo Divinos to begin your investigation. Hal, where do you head to this fine morning?
Well, I have a lot I want to try to get done before getting to the Hallowed Round today. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to 2 quick stops in the Rookery, the neighborhood that both my home, the theater, referred to as the Rookery. This neighborhood is honeycombed with not all but most of the troupe of the Hallowed Round of the Rookery. And I need to see 2 people. But despite Azune describing the Halavar visit last night and them really just sort of flexing and trying to invite me to the estate, still a little paranoid. So what I do right after Azune leaves, is I take a moment with my brother, hand on his chest, just a moment of quiet, and then slowly, in the back of the house, there is a side entrance to the home, and I actually bring in a large slat of wood, and I move my brother onto it. and I begin to drag that slat of wood towards the back of the house. I pause, I grab a cloak from my home and throw it up and over my head and exit the rear of the building with my brother, and I have a low, small wagon, a little more than a wheelbarrow, but less than a regular horse-drawn wagon, and I managed to slide the Aussie on top of it and cover him over with fabric from inside the house. And while I'm still in the back of the house, unseen, I will drag my hand across my face, a way I've done 1,000 times before, and my visage and my hands become wizened and old as I cast the spell Disguise Self. So I look like a very, very old orc, and cloak still over me, and I pick up the cart behind me and very easily assume an old hunched position, and I begin to walk my brother through the neighborhood of the rookery, looking around for anything dangerous.
Give me perception.
Okay. That is a 15.
Wheeling Thiazi's body, which is covered, you just look like an old Dol Makyar orc, taking a wheelbarrow of goods, taking a cart of goods somewhere. You pass the bottom of your street. Your street in the rookery does branch off into other streets, but they actually all kind of, you're realizing, they do all kind of come back down to this central highway, and you get down to that larger thoroughfare that heads to the bridge crossing the river Vrosh, and see two Sons of the Dawn, two sort of Halavar mercenaries that are just at the street corner looking up your street. And they don't look at you at all, because why would they?
Right. I turn away and begin to wheel off towards my partner's house, to Olgud Akarat's home early in the morning. And when I feel like I'm a few streets away from the Halavar units, I drop the spell and stand up in the same cloak. So I just slowly shift from old man to Hal. And arrive at Olgud's house. Give a little knock.
See. I'll be right there. Hold on. Hal! What are you away? You want to walk to work together? What are you doing here?
Carpool.
Sorry. I know that you've helped the family out so much in the past couple of days, and I'm afraid.
Carpool.
Yes. I'm here to ask for another family favor. So, all your tasks for the business today, please put them on hold, if you will.
Got it. No problem. He looks down and says, "Oh, are these those the new, what is it? The foils, the stage foils, stage combat? What do you got in the cart?"
Listen, I am worried about Shadia. Now that we've said our goodbyes to her uncle, I think it's time to take him to the next step. And I look down at the wagon and then back up to him.
Oh, spirits of the old path, my God. Okay. All right.
I know.
Okay.
And I squeeze him by the shoulder.
Okay.
I need you to do me this favor today. And I turn my head up and I look at the hills above the rookery, above our neighborhood. You know where my father lies?
I do.
I think that he wanted to be close to the old man. So the ridge above the cemetery up there.
Yeah.
I mean to make his rest there. So for today, could you look after my brother?
I'll look after him. Did you have a conversation with them about the plot? I can handle that today.
Yes, please. And if you could, I'm hoping to move into sort of uncharted territories up onto that hill above it. You can see the whole city from up there. He can keep an eye on us still.
Got it. I'll get it done now.
Thank you, old friend.
He'd love it. See the whole city. Be up there. Catch every slate gray dawn this grimy old town has to offer. It's a good place.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. What's the theater producer for, if not to abscond with the body of his business partner's brother, who's hanged for sedition and arcanism? I don't get it done.
It is almost, but not quite, the worst thing we've ever done together.
No, the worst thing we've ever done was that production the first time we were in the Lyceum. My God, that was bad.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about that anymore.
We did say we weren't talking about that anymore, but I can't stop thinking about it. It stays with me.
Rules are meant to be broken, it seems. All right, well, I will look in on the round later and see how things are going, make sure that we're still on track. You are free of thinking about theater for one day and one day only.
Oh, what a relief. All right. I'll see it done. Take care of yourself, Hal.
Thank you.
He takes the cart, moves it indoors, and shuts the door, looking around paranoid for a moment. And then you are on your way.
I just walk another 3 blocks over from here, and I end up on the doorstep of Inez Roundtree. Inez, the half-orc woman, ex-rebel of the Falconers' Rebellion, turned fight captain for my theater troupe, has walked me and every member of it through choreo and swordcraft, pretend swordcraft. A very important part of everything we do. And I knock on her door. So.
You knock on her door. She opens it and goes, Hal. Oh, sorry. You needed the foils, right? The stage combat.
No. I think the troupe has finally, I think they've got it for this one.
Okay. Understood.
I think at this point you can just enjoy a job well done.
Great. Why are you here?
Right. I'm not the only one who is noticing this city is getting tense. Am I?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been getting tense for a while.
I'm starting to worry about the agreements we have in place for our work.
You mean with the council, our license to the Hallowed Round?
I can't even put my finger on it. It's like everywhere I go, it feels like the walls are getting just a little more narrow, closing in just a little bit more. And I'm hearing this from friends, all my little birds around the city. I'm trying to get a sense of what's going on inside of the guards' heads, and I really hate to ask this. But I know that your sister still works in the Ironfossen estate.
Me and my sister gossip all the time. It is not hard for me just to go press and see if she's heard anything. Do you want me? Now, I will happily tell you what my sister said. Are you asking me for me to ask my sister to be proactive and look for something?
Tell you what, I'm a little load for bear today, but if it works for her schedule there, if she has time off and can visit you here, can the 3 of us talk?
Give me a persuasion check.
That is a 24.
Oh, yeah.
I think that sounds perfectly fine. I'll ask Romina over. What, you want to have dinner tonight?
Yeah. Let's say tonight, if she's free.
I'll ask tonight. Can we meet somewhere more central for her? The Ironfossen estate's across town.
Whatever is easiest for her. I'm really trying not to put you or her out. I only ask. And as you know, that the kind of purpose that my brother and you had to bear, those needs might be coming back They are coming back. I don't know if I can keep the plates spinning. And I am just trying to future-proof if I can.
I've been thinking a lot about your brother. Hell of a time for our opening at the Great Amphitheater to be telling a story about a failed revolution.
The irony is not lost on me.
I'll keep my ear to the ground, Hal. Let me talk to Romina, and I'll see what I can do. I know that she's working today, so if I might have to send word to you at the round.
All right.
You take off from Inez?
Yes. And my last errand of the day, before meeting up with the others, is heading further out into the city to the Grey Library.
You head to the Grey Library, the library of the Revolutionary Council in Marud. Arriving there, you enter into the maze-like stacks of the largest multicultural pan-historical library on the continent of Pacitar.
I'm looking for any of the few friendly faces that I have grown to know over decades of coming to this place to research for my work.
You see that Berindra Moss is a older bullfolk librarian. She has long spectacles on the edge of her snout, big horns on her head, turns around. Oh, hello. Hal, good to see you, my friend.
Miss Moss, it has been a moment. How are you? How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Life is glorious.
Things still fast-paced here at the old library?
It is a maelstrom of activity. The silence that follows that statement is resounding. I can hardly catch a breath.
Well, I know it's been half a year, but I am back.
Half a year? Weren't you here the other... Oh, God, it was a half a year ago. That's right. It feels like a moment.
I'm here to beg on your doorstep again. If you can believe it, we're finally on the verge. The show is about to go. All of those hours spent in the stacks under your tutelage and guidance have paid off. Please, you have my most gracious invitation to come 8 days. 8 days at the Hall Around, and you will be down front and center. Please, I insist.
I'm there. Count me in. Is this
Treant of a woman?
I know. I live in Marud. What part of town is the Hollowed Round in?
Oh, it's all the way on the south side, with views of the country like you wouldn't believe.
I'll have to get. If it's in 8 days, I'll leave tomorrow. In time. How can I help you, Alan?
Well, a rolling stone catches no moss, grows no moss, and if you can believe it, I already have an idea for the next. I have got an itch today to do some work, to start digging in, and I want to dive back into the history stacks, if that's okay.
Oh, of course. Hallandale. Normally on a day this busy, I wouldn't think of it, but here. And you see she hands you a small little sort of parchment square that has an emblem of the library on it. Help yourself. You're such a speedy young whippersnapper. You'll Go faster by yourself. Just handle the books with care. I know I can trust you.
Will do. You taught me the Mooey decimal system, so I am.
You are
Cute. My dad or my dad?
Help yourself. Help yourself. And she bids you into the history section. What do you do in that section?
Well, Brennan, I think it took me 60 or 90 minutes to get to this point, and I have maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 5 hours before I have to be at the hallowed round.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to do is dig into the stacks in the limited amount of time that I have and find anything and everything I can on the death of the gods, hopefully with a focus on Illumi,
yes.
and the halflings. And I want to look for any mention or any scraps or shred of information about masks in history or story or myth or tales, anything from the last 100 to 500 years.
Incredible. This information is secret from all across the world. You are looking for the barest wisps of clues. You are here in this great library, so I will allow you to roll with advantage. You'll be rolling a history check. A DC 20 gets you a whisper. A DC 25 gets you, I think, something usable that points in a direction. DC 30.
You got a copy of Spider-Man #1 Todd McFarlane original.
Wow. Let's go ahead and roll.
Boy, this is a long shot.
That'll be easier to find.
This is a long shot. Here we go. I'll do it over here.
What's your history?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Go for it.
I can do. Oh, it is pretty good. Oh, good rolls, Liam O'Brien. Good rolls.
It's a 22.
22. On a 22, you open the books, moving through.
Wait.
Sorry.
Wait. Never mind.
Not going to use your heroic inspiration? Okay.
I don't have that.
Okay.
He gave me advantage already.
What's that? Oh, he gave you advantage already. Gotcha.
Oh, no, you have heroic
You have heroic inspiration. You can
Use it to
re-roll if
re-roll.
you wish.
But you have to take the new roll.
Has to
keep the 22.
Yeah.
22, hell yeah.
You have to keep the new roll.
You look on a 22. And you find a text referencing the creation of sacred masks as part of a halfling tradition from the country of Hargood, far to the north. It references another text. There's a footnote in this tome that references another text in the library here. Going to search for it, you do not find it on the shelf here. It is missing. You see that looking in.
I say I need the kindling, but that part's already done.
Oh my god.
The text that you are looking for is an ancient halfling text, or not? It's about a 2 centuries old halfling text called "The Visages of Creation," and there is this version in this library was a copy. It is missing. You could ask Berindra about it if you want.
Don't you hate it when you can't find the original source of something?
One on the list. This is how you get on the list.
How much time do you think it took me to get to this point?
Think about an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
A little insulted.
Yes, you bastard. I put masks on the entire chorus because of you. I go seeking her out, yeah.
You find Berindra. Hal, how's it going?
I'm an amateur. I am not half the historian you are, not even a quarter. I am following a trail of a wisp of breadcrumbs through your labyrinth.
Yes.
And I am trying to find an elder text called I think the translation is the Visages of Creation. Does that ring?
Visages of Creation, yes. Oh. That hasn't been returned. Hold on. She starts rumbling through. I'm so sorry, Hal. This is marked as returned, but I don't know what happened to our copy. Why don't I could send for another copy. The original text is in the totality, in Hargood.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a work in progress. Do you have record of when it was taken out?
Yes. Let me look that up. I'll send a courier with any information I have about it down to the Hallowed Round later today when I get time.
That is more than fair. Thank you so much for your patience with my noodling about your home.
Of course, Hal. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. And do you want me to send to the totality to see if they have a copy that can be sent here to replenish our library? I actually should do that anyway. That's
feasible, possible?
Yes, it might take a few weeks, but yes, certainly.
Let's do that.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that.
And if you have 2 or 3 friends you want to bring to the round, my treat.
I'll get my sisters. We'll all come. We'll make a date of it. You see, she smiles. Outside, you hear trumpets blaring. She says, "Ooh, out there at the Grey Tower. Well, be well, Hal."
All right. Be well.
You exit the Grey Library before the Grey Tower of the Revolutionary Council. Exiting the library, the vast courtyard here at the central spiring civic castle, the home of the Revolutionary Council, the castle that was built for the united will of all of the mortals of Ahriman in their war against the Shapers to come together and know a world of only justice and light and truth and freedom to chart their own destinies. You step out. Broad steps, wide, like 100-foot wide are the steps leading down from the library to the great tower of the Revolutionary Council, the flag flying of a united Ahriman. Trumpets blare. You see horses coming in, knights in shining armor, a druid with an antlered helm, and carriages pulling up. Alighting to a rock in the garden, you see a young, muscular, almost like halfway between a coyote and a husky, arise up as the trumpets end. Presenting to the Revolutionary Council, the dog speaks aloud, King Augustus Valian of Timony. And you see the sort of emissaries of Timony exit from this cart, and you see that a carriage opens, and you see the dog looking in and goes, "Is he in there?" And you see that you see that a druid pokes his head out and says, "He told me he was riding a horse." And you see the dog goes, "Not again." King Valian calls out. And that's where we will end our episode of Critical Role.
That's I may be a talking dog, but I sure as heck can't drive. Yeah.
All right.
Dogs too.
King Augustus Valiant.
King Gus
from the Soldiers Table.
I'm gonna look it up in a library. Do you think this is fucking game? You don't think that I would? Oh no, there might be a library with a book with. Oh yeah, no.
I'm looking for rumors.
It's.
You think I'm gonna be like, cool? Living mass. Got it. That makes sense.
How I Did It by Victor Frankenstein.
How I Did It, Victor Frankenstein. Folks, we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what a fucking hot start. I'm so psyched. We'll see you next week for the continuation of the Schemers Table here at Critical Role. Is it Thursday yet?
No.
That was fun.
That
was a lot.
Okay.
Oh boy, there was a lot of win.
I've been on pins and needles about this game for so long, and it felt so good to get into it.
Yeah.
Yes.